delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew, 30 seconds, that's it. Done. Peace.
Whether it's the Hurricanes and their push for a second Stanley Cup or the first-year travails of Bryce Young and the Panthers, you get all of that and more in the Best of the Adam Gold Show, brought to you by Coach P at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. A couple of scattered thunderstorms for us this afternoon, especially from the Triangle area southward, where we have a level 1 risk for severe storms and a flood watch. We just continue with this pattern. 89, so hot out there this afternoon, but down to 69 tonight and a little cooler tomorrow with a high of 83, variably cloudy with a chance of storms.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down 159 points to 39,338. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. I hope all of you had a wonderful, relaxing, refreshing, recharging weekend. Because it's football season. Because we are in the thick of it now. Because the Panthers are going to have joint practices this week with the New York Jets. Because the AP Top 25 poll for the college football world came out today. Because as fun and I would say as refreshing and relaxing as the Olympics have been, they're done, right? The refreshing, like, oh, look at this underdog story. You get locked in. You pay attention to international team handball for a couple hours. Then you move on. All that's done. Football season is here. And as Dennis reminded me today, what is it, 5 weeks until the first preseason game for the Canes?
5 weeks from tomorrow.
5 weeks from tomorrow, the first preseason game for the Canes. So it really is, once we get going on this football conveyor belt, it's hockey season, it's basketball season, it's on and on and on, and pretty soon we're back to July.
The machine won't stop.
And I think that's part of what we're getting caught up with the Panthers is the machine doesn't stop. And we're expecting certain things to change just because the machine is cranking. The reaction to today's practice from the Panthers, which, by the way, we had a ton of reaction to their first preseason game. You can go find that on our YouTube page. There's Panthers Playbook episodes. There's reactions on this show. It's all on 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Because that was a Thursday game, we've talked about it enough on Friday. I don't think we have to dive into it too much. But I do think it's interesting the reaction to the couple of practices, specifically today's practice since that took place, has been maybe the offense wasn't great today. Right? There's a funny video going around on social media after the early part of practice where I believe it's a fan, maybe a podcaster, films the defense, and they look like they're, I don't know, in a dance circle at a wedding where it's, you push someone into the middle and they got to give you 10 seconds of a little move, and then they get out and someone else has to go into the middle.
Living their best life.
Then it just pans over to the offense, and they're similarly positioned in a circle, only it's very melancholy and very much being talked to, lectured to. Somebody's giving a speech about picking it up, and it's just the discrepancy in the two. It's like, all right, defense is having a better practice. Offense ran sprints after practice. That probably tells you a lot about what the practice was. David Newton of ESPN tweeted that unit, meaning the offense, did not have a good day. Is the Panthers' offense falling behind is what all of this is going to lead to. I don't. Here's the problem I have with that. Is the Panthers' offense falling behind? I don't think they're falling behind. The Panthers' offense is behind. Not because they're moving backward, right? Not because they're stumbling and bumbling and fumbling. It's behind because they started behind, right? The Panthers were the worst offense in the NFL last year in multiple very important statistics. 13.9 points per game, the fewest in the NFL.
Dead last.
265 yards per game, the fewest in the NFL.
Dead last.
They're not falling behind. They are behind. They might even be improving and still be behind.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it works, right? We just watched the Olympics a whole bunch of times. You know how they stagger the start? Imagine if they staggered the start and it was just a straight line race, right? Because the stagger is to make up the curves.
On the track, yes.
Yeah, if you were just all the way in the back and it was a straight line race, you may have the best burst out of the gate. You're still going to be behind. Now, I'm not here to say that the defense is otherworldly for the Panthers, but they're good. And they were good last year. And they brought in some players that fit with the scheme they're trying to run. They're going to be better than the Panthers offense. If and when the Panthers offense improves enough that it can become a fair fight, but that's not where they are right now. Adam Thielen likes what he's seen from Bryce Young so far this year. That's not going to solve everything. But even with that being said, here's Adam Thielen talking about his quarterback.
Yeah, I think him just feeling really comfortable and trusting it. Probably maybe some of those throws he wouldn't have even attempted last year. Don't know why, but I would imagine a lot of it is just comfortability, in the system and what he's doing in his footwork. I don't know, right? Like I'm not in his head, but that's what it feels like to me. Just comfortable in what he's doing, where his reads are, how he's progressing, and then just trusting that we're going to make those contested catches. And we need to continue to do better, and individually I need to do better at that just to help him trust, that he can throw it when there is a defender on your back, that we're going to still make a play and come down with it.
I love that from a wide receiver standpoint, from a offense standpoint. Unless you are CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, I don't necessarily want Bryce Young getting comfortable throwing to covered wide receivers. Let's find the open ones. Adam Thielen, I love you. Adam Thielen, 100 catches last year. Adam Thielen was awesome. Adam Thielen might be, I don't know why I'm saying his name at the beginning of every sentence. Adam Thielen might be past the point where he is a guy who's open when he's covered.
Yeah.
Bryce Young's superpower is processing quickly, knowing where to go with the football. Let's find the open guys. That's when the offense takes the next step.
Well, he should be used to throwing to receivers that are covered. That's all they were last year.
Well, actually, yeah. Let's not.
He should be comfortable.
Let's not encourage him to throw it to those guys. He has enough practice.
Exactly.
Let's practice finding the open guy. You don't have a lot of experience with that since Alabama. My overall point on all of this is I'm not going to. Like it's the offense is behind the defense, as if that's some kind of an indictment on what Dave Canales is an offensive head coach. How in the world are you only going to score 3 points in your first preseason game with an offensive head coach? How in the world are you going to have your offense being lectured while the defense is celebrating with an offense head coach with this system that is supposed to make the quarterback look good even if they haven't been good over the last few years? I'm going, wait, remember what he was dealt, right? Remember what he started with. When he took over, it was the worst offense in the NFL. I'm comfortable saying the Panthers were the worst team in the NFL on the aggregate because that's what their record says that they were.
The worst.
But it's more accurate to say the offense was the worst in the NFL and the defense, while better, wasn't good enough to drag it out of the dungeon, right, out of the basement. So there's going to be days when the defense just looks better than the offense at Panthers training camp. There's going to be days where the defense is dancing because their undrafted rookie free agent was able to snag a couple of interceptions, Damani Richardson. And there's going to be days when the offense is getting lectured, even though in the grand scheme of things, they might be moving in the right direction. There's only really one way to find out if they are moving in the right direction, and that's if they ever get to play against another team, which the offense really didn't get to do in their first preseason game.
No. By all accounts, by the way, yesterday at practice, offense looked good.
Made some plays.
Yeah.
Made some plays. Defense might be getting better, though. Hassan Reddick just demanded a trade from the Jets.
Bring him back. Bring him back to Carolina.
We'll have to dive into this at some point in the show because Hassan Reddick has, like you said, bring him back. He's been a Panther. Yeah. He's had some pretty good success elsewhere.
He was a Matt Rule guy.
Notably with the Eagles, and then they traded him to the Jets. Hasn't played it down with the Jets, and he's demanding a trade because they couldn't work out an extended contract. I have, there's fine print to this, right? Bring him back. And then it's got an asterisk, and you check the asterisk, and it's as long as you're able to bring him in for an extended period of time because the Panthers this year is not enough. The cost can't be a ton, right? If Hassan Reddick wants top edge rusher money, we just passed on top edge rusher money for Brian Burns. Mm-hmm. So let's not go, all right, fine. Well, we need an edge rusher. We'll give him the money. And it's now you just downgraded. We save $2 million a year. Not enough. So it's situational, but if it all comes together, if it all works out, I wouldn't be against a Reddick reunion. Throw Jadeveon Clowney, Hassan Reddick on the other side, then all of those other pieces that I hated as a starting edge become depth, and maybe there's more there.
Here's the thing. They're coming down here for Thursday for joint practice. Hey, Hassan, just hop on the plane. We're going to trade you to Carolina. We got your flight booked, literally. It's already all booked. You already know where to stay. Just come on down.
Have the Panthers agreed to this?
I just did.
Well, the thing is, he obviously, if you trade him to somewhere, he's comfortable saying, I'm not going to – he was traded to the Jets, did the opening press conference, talked highly about the team, then as soon as that contract didn't come through, now he wants a trade. So part of the trade has to be you have agreed to a contract because you're not going to trade for him and be the Jets. You never want to be the Jets over again.
Just fully guarantee his contract this year. We'll call it even.
I don't know if Reddick agrees to that. I think he wants multiple.
I know, but I'm just trying to,
I'm for it.
I know,
with all
but you're
of the
poo-pooing on it.
I'm for it. Just let's cover our bases before let's not act, rashly.
It's not my money here.
That's fine. Then promise more money. That's fine.
Oh, again, in that case.
If Dan Morgan wants to do that, hey, it's Tepper's cash. Here you go.
Okay, triple it then.
Just know that you just moved on from Brian Burns for money purposes. Don't go buy the light version of it for the same price when you just moved on. That's not how good business works. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are up and cooking on a Monday, and that means it's time to get to our 99 questions about the college football season. And also, the AP preseason top 25 poll came out at noon today. We have reactions and questions coming up.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Batter up. Theater Raleigh presents Bull Durham, a new musical playing Duke University's Reynolds Industries Theater in Durham, September 10th through the 22nd. Based on the classic movie, the film's original screenwriter Ron Shelton has adapted the story for the musical, so you can follow Crash Davis's Durham Bulls story and his romantic love triangle in a new genre. The perfect blend of comedy, drama, and steamy romance. Get your tickets for Bull Durham, a new musical, today. Details and ticket info at theaterraleigh.com.
Dauntless Transmissions has been the trusted transmission shop in Raleigh for more than 27 years. The experts at Dauntless Transmission are dauntless when it comes to caring for your vehicle. Whether that means a total transmission rebuild, complex engine or brake service, or just a routine tune-up, your vehicle will be dauntless when they're done with it. Visit DauntlessTransmissions.com. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
Dauntless is currently looking for skilled auto technicians to join the Dauntless team. Visit DauntlessTransmissions.com/careers to apply.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
What's wrong? My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation. Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card? Uh-huh. Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase. Really? Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have some things we have to clean up here before we get to our 99 questions about the college football season. One, let's just call it like it is. I get excited at the beginning of the show to jump into the talk and react to whatever's happened. So our fan football flyaway keywords will come at some point in the first half of the 3 o'clock hour. And for the 4 and 5 o'clock hour, we're more likely to do it right at the beginning of the hour. 3 o'clock, sometimes I get a little worked up and forget. So we'll do it right now at 3:17. You still have 43 minutes to text in the keyword. It is time for our 3 o'clock keyword in our fan football flyaway, sponsored by the Sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, Newcomb & Company. Those are the sponsors. This hour's word is run. R-U-N. Text RUN to 919-860-5326 and enter for your chance to win a trip for two to Vegas. See Carolina play football against the Silver and Black. It's in September. There's room, there's flights, there's everything you could ask for. But the keyword is run, and it expires at 4 o'clock. So you have 42 minutes now to text in RUN to 919-860-5326 to get this hour's entry into the Fan Football Flyaway. You can listen in for another keyword coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, and we'll try to do it closer to the beginning of the hour, again, in the 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock hour. It's every hour from noon to 6 here on 99.9 The Fan every weekday. Also, since we talked about Hassan Reddick asking for a trade or demanding a trade from the Jets right before that commercial break, during that commercial break, the Jets put out a statement. I'm going to paraphrase here. No, Hassan. That's basically their entire statement. They said, we've let Hassan know we're not trading him. He's going to play here, or he's going to continue to be fined for not showing up. So all of that talk about, like, hey, bring Reddick to Carolina. Well, you might have to put that away for a little bit because it doesn't appear as if the Jets are going to allow that to happen. They're not going to get bullied by someone that they traded a third-round pick for. They're more apt to just bully back. And if they waste the third, they waste the third. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Now let's get to 99 questions about the college football season. The AP Top 25 poll came out today, preseason. I thought I heard something. And we thought we would do this. We'd look at the AP Top preseason poll and then ask, where will the teams in the triangle end up in the season-ending Top 25 poll if they end up in the season-ending Top 25 poll? To give you just a generic glance at the Top 25 as it came out today at noon, the top three are Georgia, Ohio State, and Oregon. They all received at least one number one place vote, 46 for Georgia, 15 for Ohio State, 1 for Oregon. When it comes to the ACC, I know it doesn't really count, but I'll put it in there anyway. Notre Dame at 7. Seems a little rich for me. Florida State 10, Clemson 14, Miami 19th, and NC State comes in at 24th. In the also receiving votes category, Louisville, Virginia Tech, and SMU would be 26th, 27th, and 29th.
Let's go. Make it a top 30. Make it a top 30. ACC's dominating.
David Hale of ESPN covers the ACC pointed this out. When the top 25 was implemented originally, I believe it was 1989, there was like 104 FBS teams. Now there's 130-something FBS teams. If the ratio grew, it should be a top 132 right now because 25 was a certain percentage of how many teams were available. Does that make sense?
So a top 32, that is?
Top 32 is what the equivalent of a top 25 would be back when the top 25 was originally implemented. And if that were the case, the ACC would have a whole bunch more because they have 3 of the 4 closest also receiving votes teams in the poll. So that's where they stand right now. Duke, UNC, not in the top 25, not receiving votes. NC State, 24th on the top 25.
By the way, App State got 4
App
votes.
State also receiving votes. I'm going to try to do this as honestly and just rip the Band-Aid off as quickly as possible.
Okay.
I don't think Duke or UNC end up in the top 25.
Oh.
UNC may flirt with the top 25, especially because I think they could win their first 6-7 games in a row, and if you're 6 or 7-0, usually you jump up into the top 25 somewhere. But starting with that Georgia Tech Week 7, I believe, or their 7th game, I think they're going to have some tough ones there, drop a couple. That's kind of where it stands. If you tell me UNC's quarterback situation works out and you get the top level of that production, I completely change this. I think they could be a top 25 team. But that's a big if, right? Now, how many teams out there, hey, if we nail the quarterback position, we're going to be really good? There's a bunch of them. Duke is in a rebuilding year. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a bowl team that doesn't make the final top 25. I think bowl eligibility for them is a good season, right? Any 7, 8, 9 wins on top of that, Great season. But you know, that's not, I don't even think, an insult to them, saying like, I don't know if you really jump into the top 25 based on what they've had to replace. NC State becomes a difficult one for me. I think they finish in the top 25. They're 24 in the preseason. I think they finish in the top 25. NC State will open the 2024 season in the top 25 for the just the third time since 2000 and for the second time under Dave Doran. But 3 times under Doran, they've ended in the top 25. 7 times, or 6 of the last 7 years under Doran, they've entered the top 25 at some point in the season. So the argument would then say, usually the AP top 25 preseason voters don't give NC State the love that they earn throughout the season. So if they're already at 24, how high up do they go? Here's the question I want to ask NC State fans that I think is a bit more difficult. Did they finish in the top 12? I think that's right on the border.
Yeah.
It might literally come down to one game, right? One drive. You come up with the one drive to win a game that's a 50-50 shot, right? 2 teams play great, comes down to the final couple plays. You make the play. That could be the difference between 11th, awesome season, maybe an ACC championship game appearance, maybe a college football playoff appearance, and 18th, 20th, which solid, but much less to celebrate because it doesn't come with those things I just mentioned. That's where football is the game of inches. Do I think they're going to win that final game? And by the way, final game could be a week 8 game. I'm not saying the last game of the year.
Could be in 2 weeks against Tennessee.
You never, yeah, exactly.
Or 2 weeks into the season, I should say.
You never know in which, it's the frustrating part about football, right? You throw an interception week 4. You don't realize that's going to keep you out of the college football playoff at the end of the season. But it really is that fine of a line. If you're put, like, I hate making this because I do really think it could be a coin flip. I'll say yes. I'll say they finish between 11 and 14.
Yeah.
And it's what happens elsewhere. Is the bracket bust, like, is the group of 5 team that gets into the college football playoff ranked in the top 10, or are they ranked outside the top 10, which makes it more difficult? It comes down to everything surrounding the team, but that's where I think they end up. Not unbelievably confident in it, but the prediction has been made, so I'm going to let it rock. Once again, the fan football flyaway keyword, if you missed it at the beginning of this segment, for this hour is RUN, R-U-N. Text it in to 919-860-5326 to enter for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Vegas to see Carolina play football against the Silver and Black in September. Sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb and Company. Gets me every time. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We wrap up our Olympic moments. What was the coolest part of the weekend? Did the U.S. hold off China in the gold medal count? Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
Does the ACC need their own Paul Feinbaum? Not really. You know what the ACC really needs? They need NC State to beat Tennessee. They need North Carolina to beat Minnesota. They need Clemson to be good against Georgia. Win? I don't know, man. Georgia's a brick wall. But look the part. And Miami? Beat Florida. That's what the ACC needs. Win some of these games.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling. Better with Pepsi.
Swing by your local Family Fair where you can get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for just $4. Family Fair, first in thirst.
Did your mobile provider just increase their prices again? Switch to Spectrum Mobile, the nation's fastest growing mobile provider. With Spectrum Mobile, you get unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G. Switching to Spectrum Mobile has never been easier. We'll pay off your phone balance up to $2,500. Stop dealing with price hikes from your cell phone company. Get Spectrum Mobile. Visit spectrum.com/itpays-to-switch for full details. Offer subject to change. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Mortgage rates have plummeted, and Loan Pronto clients are locking in the lowest rates we've seen in years. Hey, it's Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's happening. We are finally locking APRs in the 5s, something we haven't seen for a long time. If that sky-high rate is killing you or you need to get cash out of your home equity, now is the time to take action. Or listen, even if you want to keep that first mortgage rate intact, you can take advantage of lower rates with our Equity Express line of credit. We're seeing homeowners take 50, 75, 200 grand or more out of their equity and wiping out that high-interest debt with an average savings of $850 per month. Bottom line, your home value is way up and mortgage rates have come way down, making this a great time to act. Call today for a 30-second rate quote. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
Where'd y'all go last week? Well, we've been watching our budget. So no going out? Oh yeah, we're going out, just hitting all the specials. First, we hit the House of Hops. That's Jerome's favorite spot. Big savings on Monday and Wednesdays. Mix and match craft beer and 25% off on to-go growlers. Oh, it's a great place to relax.
You know, the Mix has some good specials, and they're across the street.
You have to check out their wine tastings once a month and their live music schedule, plus $5 draft beer on Thursdays. Then Saturday, it's salt and lime brunch, and Monday they have $5 margaritas.
Wait, what about Sharkies?
Oh, sweetie, you know Sharkies is special all the time.
So you're just going in a circle. House of Hops, Salt and Lime, the Mix, then Sharkies. House of Hops, Salt and Lime, the Mix, then Sharkies. Sounds like a vicious cycle.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a vicious cycle. More like a wonderful cycle.
Yeah, sounds like a cycle I need to be riding.
House of Hops, the Mix, Salt and Lime, and Sharkies. Definitely a cycle you should be riding. Hope to see you soon.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Throughout the entire Olympics, we tracked the medal count. And early on, the United States was like 5th, 6th, 7th, and we're going like, there's still a lot of events that the United States traditionally dominates. Let's not get carried away. And then eventually they worked their way up into 1st, 2nd, and we were there for most of it. China was always right there with us. Right? And then you start thinking, well, at some point we'll pull away, and then like another day goes by and China wins 3 more, and
yeah, it's like, what?
We win another, and then weightlifting comes up and they win like 4, and then we claw our way back. Then badminton comes up and they win 4 more medals, gold medals, and we claw our way back. It turns out both the United States of America and the People's Republic of China finished with exactly 40 gold medals, which is double what any other country was able to turn in the Paris Olympics. Japan was tied was third behind the United States and China with 40, and Japan had 20 gold medals. Mm-hmm. So far and away, only 2. They tied, meaning we and China tied, which the tiebreaker goes down to who has the most total medals, in which case we worked them.
Wasn't even close.
126 to 91. We end up on top.
Not even close.
And I thought it was funny because at the beginning I was nervous because we had like 7 gold medals and 30 bronze. It was like, wow, we're really just not getting over that last little bit, huh? It finished. The United States had 40 gold, 44 silver, 42 bronze. It almost completely evened out as the games went along. So I'm counting the victory. It was close, but in the words of Dom Toretto in the first Fast and the Furious, which is the best Fast and the Furious, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning, and the United States won. And we can brag about things like the 126 total medals are the most in a non-boycotted Olympics for the United States since 1904.
Let's go.
Second most by any country since 1908. So if in LA we just transition a few of our total medals to more gold, we're talking all-time dominance.
It's not even close.
Not even close. Just need a couple of those silvers. Eat your Wheaties, right? Get a little bit more pep in your step, and we're rolling to everything. But it's still a win is a win. I'm not going to complain. This weekend was a return of one of the themes that I've pointed out about the Olympics, which is it's never more obvious thrill of victory, agony of defeat. Just look at the men's and women's basketball finals.
Awesome games.
Awesome games. And because our women's team finished 1 point better, right? Because the France 3-point shot that they banked in at the buzzer had a foot on the line, so it was a 2 rather than a 3. We escaped with a 1-point victory. And because Steph Curry goes supernova in the fourth quarter against France in the men's, we're dancing, right? I'm seeing people say they just put up the like gold, bronze, gold for men's basketball. And it said, stop telling me the rest of the world is catching up. And I'm going, did you watch the gold medal game?
Yeah, did you watch the game?
Did you watch a couple of them? Yes. Did you watch the Serbia game? Like, just because we finished a hair ahead, we get to be our cocky and brash selves, right? Don't tell me the rest of the world's catching up. Then think of France. Home country, right? Playing in front of a home crowd. They're booing the heck out of Joel Embiid. They go out there and finish, like if the women's team, if their foot was 6 inches back, they'd be in overtime. The men's team, if Steph Curry doesn't go bananas, who knows what happens? That's the difference. That's how close it was. Steph Curry on what it feels like to win that gold medal.
It's everything I imagined and more. Just the excitement of doing it with, the guys in our locker room. We all signed up for this mission to continue the USA basketball dominance. Obviously understanding it was going to be a really tough task with some great teams that we're going to have to face. And, there's a sense of relief at the end, but it's more like a sense of accomplishment, obviously knowing what we were able to do. And I've seen the medal ceremonies at other events. I've seen Kay get all 3 of his. I've seen, watched it and envisioned what that would feel like. And it wasn't really anything that knocked something off my resume. It was more because I haven't experienced it yet and not really knowing what it was going to be like. I'm smiling, cheesing, and having the best time of my life because, this might not come around again. So very, very special and just trying to take it all in.
We should talk about how it might not come around again for those 3 guys. If LeBron, Steph, and KD aren't there in 2028, somebody's going to have to step up. And I really hope, and I say this genuinely, not complaining because he played at Duke and it's local or whatever. I really hope they didn't chase away Jason Tatum by having him be a coach's decision, did not play multiple times in the Olympics. Because even if they didn't need him this year, in 2028, he's going to be like the old, experienced, teaching everybody else how it goes. He's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist now, and they embarrassed him a decent amount at the Olympics. Him and Tyrese Halliburton against Serbia just did not play. Coach had no reason for it. He's a 3-time reigning consecutive All-NBA first-teamer. Halliburton's a third-teamer.
It worked.
It did. I think it would be insulting.
You
to
won,
Jason,
right?
I think it would be insulting to Jason Tatum to say if he played, it wouldn't have worked. So I look at it in a little different way. And also, I do think he's necessary in 2028. I think he is somebody that would be more of a centerpiece. He played a ton in Tokyo when they won. So if he doesn't come back because he's like, nah, forget that. I went last time and you guys treated me dirty, then buckle up for somebody else less talented or less experienced.
That's fine. I mean, that's the thing. If he's honestly, if someone gets butthurt over their playing time in the Olympics, that's on them. Like,
I disagree. I mean, he just finished an NBA championship. I'm sure he would have loved to have been resting, but they requested, and he answered their request.
Okay.
To then turn around and not play him, it's like you didn't have to request me. There are a bunch of other guys that didn't just lead the NBA champion to a NBA title. The other thing, and this one is thrill of victory, agony of defeat. What if you had to feel it like 10 times in a week span? Because Jordan Childs, they're asking her to give her medal back.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jordan Childs won on floor exercise, or I should say won the bronze, but there was a scoring error that immediately made it look like the women's gymnast from Romania won.
No, she initially was finished 5th. She appealed.
But what I'm saying is no one is debating that her routine, if correctly scored, was good enough for bronze.
Mm-hmm.
It was incorrectly scored, which put her off the podium and the women's gymnast from Romania on the podium as the bronze medalist. There was an appeal made by the United States that said you've incorrectly scored her run. They said after the women's Romanian gymnast was already getting ready to celebrate, they said, "Oh, you're right. We incorrectly scored it. Jordan Childs, you are the bronze medalist." Then, days later, it's revealed that there was an appeal by the Romanian gymnast organization, that the appeal from the United States came after the 1 minute buffer. So every appeal has to come within 1 minute of the score being revealed, and they're saying it was like 104 or 105, which means the International Olympic Committee, whoever's the governing body, said, "You're right, it was too late. Childs, even though we all agree that your floor exercise was good enough for bronze, you didn't appeal early enough, so we can't change the score. Give your medal back to Romania." And now the American gymnasts, that's brutal, by the way. That's just awful. The American gymnastics group now says they have video evidence of the coach making the appeal at like 47 seconds and 55 seconds after the score was revealed. So there's some, this is where the internet rumors come in. There may be somebody from the United States that's not willing to give the medal back, kind of like a, well, if I have it, possession is 9/10 of the winner, right? But that's the rumor part. Maybe Childs is, just working on finding the proper package to ship it in.
Come pry it from my cold, dead hands.
What are you going to do?
I won this thing.
I think that whoever's running this show should be running the governing, whatever the scoring committee, needs to have their job severely looked into. Because if someone makes an appeal, wouldn't one of the first things you check is like, is this appeal legal or not?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just seems like it's pretty. Oh, sorry, we're not even going to look at it because you got it in too late. A few other things from the Olympics just because they're fun to talk about. United States women's national soccer team, torch, passed.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when everyone was real bent out of shape because Alex Morgan wasn't chosen? Turns out they may have had the next couple of Alex Morgans on the team already, and they just kind of knew, like, hey, time for the next group to take over. They won the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals and gold medal match. 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, with a game winner apiece for Trinity Rodman, Sophia Smith, and Mallory Swanson, who are that trio of goal scorers that is going to appear to be the next superstars in women's soccer.
I told you on Friday, Mallory Swanson would get the goal.
Honestly, whoever's sitting in that producer's chair has been unreal at predicting goal scorers. Because the one day I did both Adam's show and this show last week, Graham Hill's anytime goal scorer was Sophia Smith, and she ended up scoring in overtime to win the semifinal. Then we pop over to this show. Dennis is producing, and he says Mallory Swanson is going to score the goal for the United States. They did. In both, granted, in the championship, I did say extra time, but in both, I did predict 1-0. So we've been locked into United States women's national team. And obviously, I also want to point this out, right? Because those three goal scorers are becoming like superstars. The defense didn't allow a goal in the quarterfinals, semifinals, or finals.
Alyssa Nair and Net made some crazy saves.
Yes, especially late in the gold medal match. So just flowers to everybody involved in that team. And then also I want to give a shout-out to the men's and women's 4x400 meter teams. That's just becoming one of those events that American, like, I take a lot of pride in the fact that we just win that every time. It's a really hard race. It takes a lot of intestinal fortitude and just will and might. And we had it in spades. Rye Benjamin down the stretch of the men's 4x400 had one of those moments where he's like, this guy might pass me, but I refuse to allow him, and just gutted it out to the line. And then in the women, Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni ran the third fastest 4x400 meter split in the history of the sport. She's just unreal.
That 4x400 was not even close.
Oh, no, it was not.
I was watching with my girlfriend. I said, it looks like Katie Ledecky swimming out there. There was no one even on the screen.
Mm-hmm. It very much did. And that's why it's like, to have that kind of dominance, appreciate greatness. It's just awesome. As always, there are too many moments to really talk about when the Olympics. We'll try to rank them some later on with the podium. But it was a really fun Olympics. The United States won. Most golds, tied for. Tiebreaker, we win with total golds. And now it comes to Paris, it comes from Paris to LA for 2028 for the Summer Games, with the Winter Games in between. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's jump into some good news for the Panthers. How about that? Right? People say I'm always negative. Here's some good news. Xavier Legette, Tommy Tremble in pads today. Maybe not fully full participants, but more than they've been doing recently. That is very important for the Panthers. The Panthers offense needs to start getting full team reps. And that starts with getting healthy, right? And part of the reason why I think Xavier Legette and Tommy Tremble are so important as far as getting healthy is because they are difficult to mimic players, right? I talk about this with, if there is a Xavier-worthy speed guy or something like that, when they get hurt, it's not like the Chiefs can go, all right, let's go to our other guy that runs a 4.21. Like, that just, whatever plays you need that speed for, they're just gone.
Yeah.
You just can't do them.
You're lucky if you get one of those guys.
And that can be a bunch of different ways where you become kind of non-imitatable. That might inimitable. I don't know if that's the word. Speak for a living. Should probably be able to
roll with it.
Check out a dictionary. Tommy Tremble and Xavier Legette, while not being that hey, Xavier Worthy's the fastest person, they do bring some things that I don't think they have elsewhere on the roster. Tremble is what I'm calling the Goldilocks tight end for the Panthers. Right? We all know the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. The porridge, not too hot, not too cold, but just right. The bed, not too hard, but not too soft, but just right. Tommy Tremble is kind of that for the tight end room. If you're looking at the best blocker, once he's healthy, that's Ian Thomas, right? Ian Thomas is powerful, proven. He's a good blocker. I think a lot of his reps will come attached to the line next to Ike Ekwonu, giving him some help. Like, that's what Ian Thomas is going to do once he gets healthy. Jatavian Sanders, the guy they drafted in the 4th round, he's the pass catcher, right? He's much more likely to be split out. He's much more likely to be trusted with option routes or double moves or go downfield. Then there's Tommy Tremble, right? He's a little bit of both. He's not just a blocker. He's not just a pass catcher. He's just right. Or at least he's just in the middle. And that allows the play caller, in this case Dave Canales, to be versatile, right? To put a guy in the game and the defense doesn't know what's going to come. Right? If you had 2 Ian Thomases out there, all right, they're heavy, they're gonna be running the football. If you had 2 Jatavian Sanders out there, all right, pay attention for play action. They're trying to get all their pass catchers out there. If you have a Thomas and a Tremble, I don't know what they're going to do. If you have a Sanders and a Tremble, I don't know what they're going to do. That allows them to be more versatile. And that's difficult to replace, right? Jordan Matthews seems to be getting a lot of reps. That guy was a wide receiver till like a couple years ago. He's probably not the most comfortable digging out defensive ends and linebackers blocking, right? So it's Tommy Tremble being back opens up that part of their it really, I wouldn't even say playbook. It opens up that part of their personnel groupings and formations into running plays, right? Different plays out of different formations or different personnel groups. Xavier Legette, his uniqueness comes in what I'm calling game breaker ability. It's ready for a hilarious story, and Panther fans, you'll remember it from last year. Dennis, I know you appreciate this one. Last year, the Panthers had to make a timeout. They'd call a timeout. And afterwards, Frank Reich explained they had to call a timeout because that play could only be run with Adam Thielen, and Adam Thielen wasn't on the field. And I, for the life of me, could not find a route or a anything that the 33-year-old wide receiver was the only person on the team with that particular skill set. He might run it the best. You might like the way he runs it, but using a timeout at a not traditional timeout part where you might want to keep that timeout because Adam Thielen wasn't out there seemed ridiculous to me. I do think there are going to be plays this year where they are like, this is an Xavier Legette play. This maybe a speed sweep, a jet sweep out of motion, maybe a wide receiver screen where it's like, no, this play is only designed to get our strong, forceful, youthful, powerful wide receiver the ball, and it doesn't make the same amount of sense to run this play to get Jonathan Mingo the ball. They're just different players, right? And that's not to say like, oh, I'd call a timeout if it's Jonathan Mingo happens to be the guy out there. I would just have a tremendously lowered expectation for success with that play. Xavier Legette is one of the only options on this team that I see as a game breaker yards after the catch. I love Deontay Johnson. Don't get me wrong. I think it was a great trade. I don't know if I'm running those Deebo Samuel-like plays for him. I think he's running more, to use the Niners offense as an example, he's running the Brandon Ayuk plays, right? He's running the more traditional route up somebody, get open down the field, make the catch plays. Xavier Legette's going to be the guy on the more creative plays. Now that they're both at least in pads, right? I'm not saying they have to go 11 on 11. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him much in the joint practices against the Jets later this week. But at least in like team periods, right, where you're going against the scout team or walkthroughs, they're not standing in the back getting mental reps. They can get in there and know, hey, when I'm in, these are the plays they're going to be calling for me. When Tremble's in, everybody knows, hey, we might get a different look from the defense because they're not like, here's what I imagine is going to happen. If Tremble's on the field and he checks out for Jatavian Sanders who goes in, somebody in the booth on the defense, right, somebody up in the coach's booth is going to be radioing down going, nickel, 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 right? Get the extra defensive back on the field. Get an extra safety because Sanders is going out there and we're going to need someone that can run with him. If Tremble stays on the field, you might see more linebackers. You might see more base defenses, even though Tremble would be trusted to go down the field and make some catches. So it is it is important to get particularly the unique guys healthy and out there practicing as often as you can so you can really open up the playbook and do everything that those guys allow you to do. Now that I said that, stay healthy.
Please and thank you.
You can't make it all. They're getting healthy, all right. Like that doesn't mean all right. Now you can go ahead and tweak something. Like stay healthy, stretch before practice, stay hydrated. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Golf nerds like me, everybody join forces in saying this one. I just have to get it off my chest before the top of the hour. Matt Kuchar is a loser. Boo! Yesterday. And I'm gonna preemptively attack all of the yeah buts. So I know some of you are gonna have the yeah buts. We'll get there. Matt Kuchar yesterday on the 18th hole of the Wyndham Championship here in North Carolina at Sedgwick. It was getting dark. He was in 12th. He had his tee shot taken on the 18th, and it was getting dark. And he elected not to finish playing. You may say, that sounds normal. It's not normal, especially when his playing partner finished, the guys behind him finished, everybody else continued playing through, and he chose not to. Now, you may say, what's the big deal? He has to come back and finish tomorrow. Well, the big deal is it makes everybody come back and finish the next day. You need the grounds crew to come out and finish the next day. You need the officials to come out and finish the next day. You need some to stay back from getting to the FedEx playoffs, some PGA Tour officials to come back and finish the next day, just so you can take 6 minutes to finish like he did today. And you may go, well, I'm hearing some today, the yeah, buts. Yeah, but he was really making a stand that the PGA shouldn't be making him play through the dark for a long time. Listen, the stand can be made. All I would need him to do is say, listen, I got a little caught up in my rivalry with the PGA, shouldn't have done it. Because you really made it difficult for a bunch of other people that aren't getting paid the huge amounts of money that you're getting paid. And oh, by the way, if he would have bogeyed that hole instead of parring it like he did, it would have cost him like $50,000. You may say, hey, $50,000, that's worth it.
It's not nothing.
He's made $60 million in his career on the course. Thankfully, or in part due to the hard work of everyone else out there, the grounds crew, the PGA Tour officials, the whole deal there. On top of that, it made the story not about Aaron Rai, who won, who is not somebody that wins a ton. It became about Matt Kuchar having to finish up the next day, even though Matt Kuchar couldn't win. Now, you may say, was this a one-time off? Is this a one-time deal? Is this is he normally awesome and he just got caught up in something? Well, there are some stories about Matt Kuchar maybe not tipping his caddy like he should. Like maybe making $1.3 million on a win on the PGA Tour. And I actually thought it was $10,000. He tipped his caddy $5,000. $1.3 million. Now, this is not his caddy that he normally has. He picked up a local caddy because the caddy he normally has couldn't make it. And the local caddies usually don't make like a traditional caddies get 10% of all winnings. So I'm fine if you didn't give him the $130K. But the etiquette would be something more than $5,000 if you made $1.3 million with their support and their advice and their numbers, meaning their measurements around the course. So my point is, if it walks like a jerk, talks like a jerk, acts like a jerk, tips like a jerk, makes people come back like a jerk, probably a jerk, right? Walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, probably a duck. It's a loser move. And golf fans know what I'm talking about. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we have a preseason week 1 full of observations. Rookie quarterbacks looked the part. And, there we go. Dennis reminds me in my ears here. We have about 5 more minutes for you to still get in the football fan flyaway. Sorry, the fan football flyaway for the round-trip tickets to Vegas, the hotel, the food vouchers, and you get to see Carolina play against the Silver and Black in September. This hour's keyword to text in is RUN, R-U-N. And to get this hour's entry, you have to text in RUN to 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. If you get that in right now in the next 5 minutes, you'll still get the 3 o'clock keyword. We'll have a new one coming up towards the beginning of the 4 o'clock hour. So this hour's keyword is RUN. You'll have to listen to the next hour in order to get the 4 o'clock keyword. All of this sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company. And there's the sound. Football 4 coming up next with a bunch of Week 1 preseason observations. And we have to talk quarterback. Stick around. Pack Therapy is in session thanks to First Horizon Bank. It's Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan alongside legendary Wolfpack play caller Mike Glennon.
Every episode of Pack Therapy is your chance to get dialed in with inside information on your team.
We'll set you up for every Wolfpack game all season long.
And we'll break down every contest, what went right and what could have worked better.
Plus, special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Navy Federal Credit Union is back with more eligibility. Now you can hear all your favorites like, my brother's a veteran, I get amazing rates. My mom served, I get 24/7 member support. Grandpa was a soldier and now I'm a member. And who could forget, thanks to my father who served in the military, I'm now eligible for incredible member benefits. Call 1-855-800-2102 or visit NavyFederal.org today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces away into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. A couple of scattered thunderstorms for us this afternoon, especially from the Triangle area southward, where we have a level 1 risk for severe storms and a flood watch. We just continue with this pattern. 89, so hot out there this afternoon, but down to 69 tonight and a little cooler tomorrow with a high of 83. Variably cloudy with a chance of storms.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 170 points to 39,327. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's get the 4 o'clock fan football flyaway keyword out there as soon as possible, because I forgot to do it at the beginning of the 3 o'clock hour, and I want to give you the full hour to text in the keyword and potentially win yourself a trip for 2 to Vegas to see Carolina football against the Silver and Black in September. I want to give you the full 4 o'clock possibilities. So, it is time for our 4 o'clock keyword in our fan football flyaway. Sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company. This hour's word is buzz. B-U-Z-Z. Text BUZZ to 919-860-5326 and enter for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Vegas. See Carolina play football against the Silver and Black in September. Again, this hour's keyword is buzz. It will expire at 5 o'clock. We'll have a new word in the 5 o'clock hour. So text in buzz as quickly as you can. Get it in before the top of the hour, and then listen for another keyword coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Again, keyword buzz. Number to text it in, 919-860-5326. Go ahead. And go. I feel like I want to do it like a start your engines or something. Just and then go. Football at 4, I can do that right now, and go. Preseason week 1 observations. First of all, let's throw in the automatic qualifier. It's one fake football game, all right? It's nothing I say here is hard and fast. There's 0% chance that one of these observations or one of these players won't live up to it. I'm reminded of the first Kenny Pickett drive in a preseason game where it was like, look at him, cuts through defenses like butter, hot knife through butter. Kenny Pickett. Didn't end up being the case for the regular season for Kenny Pickett all that often. So, grain of salt. With that being said, the rookie quarterbacks looked the part in their first NFL action as a whole. And I'm wondering if the same thing that happened to wide receivers, like within the last 5 to 10 years, is now happening with quarterbacks. There was a point in time, 10 plus years ago, where the almost cliche, the assumption was if you drafted the best wide receiver in a draft, you wouldn't see them really become elite until like year 3, right? Year 3 breakout was a thing for wide receivers. And that was just the case. Why? Well, they had to learn how to run NFL routes, and they had to learn how to beat man because college was all zone, and they had to learn all of these other things. Then there was, and I believe it was the Mike Evans, Odell Beckham Jr., I think Kelvin Benjamin may have been in the class. They had this one class where a bunch of rookies were really, really good. I believe maybe Mike Williams or Sammy Watkins was really the only one that didn't burst onto the scene, and he was actually the highest drafted. And everyone went, whoa, maybe wide receivers know what they're doing now as rookies. And all that happened was the NFL started running more college-style routes and college-style decision-making, so they were showing up in the NFL with a ton of experience doing what they were asked to do in the NFL. And then there was the Jamar Chases, the Justin Jeffersons, and now it's like, Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison are expected to be superstars right out of the gate.
You get third-rounders like Tank Dell that burst onto the scene right away.
Puka Nacua.
Yeah, fifth-rounder.
It's much less of a, like, well, wait and see, and much more of a, you know what you're doing, go out there and make plays. The offense in the NFL resembles the college offenses. And it seems like quarterbacks are coming in already kind of knowing what they're going to be asked to do. It was actually a funny joke on Twitter. I saw somebody talking about Bo Nix, and they tweeted Bo Nix highlights from his first preseason game. And Bo Nix played well. Do not get me wrong. He looked efficient, ran the ball a little bit, played a lot more than some of the other rookies. And the comment said, I think this is the year for Bo Nix. Really looks like he's meshing with that new offense. Finally his time to win the Heisman. Because it just felt like Bo Nix had been in college forever, running that, just getting slowly better at the whole catch and release quickly. Get it out, get it out, get it out. And in his first preseason game, that's exactly what he was asked to do, right? Find his playmakers, get him the ball, and take off running. He wasn't asked to do the things that quarterbacks used to have to adjust to, right? Remember, he plays in the air raid. He's going to have to get used to being under center. He's going to have to learn how to do a 7-step drop. That used to be what pro days were. Quarterbacks that were in all these college-style offenses, their pro day would be like them taking under center snaps, doing a 7-step drop deep into the pocket, bouncing 3 times and throwing a deep post, because that's what John Elway used to do. That's just what they tried to show they knew how to do. Now, shotgun in college, you get to the pros, shotgun in the pros. Now, RPOs in college, you get to the NFL, RPOs in the NFL. The rookie quarterbacks looked the part because they were being asked to play the same part they played in college. You ready for a reference here? This is, did you see there's a new SNL movie coming out?
SNL movie?
Yeah, it's not a documentary. It's like a dramatic retelling of the day the very first SNL took part.
Okay.
So it's Belushi, it's Aykroyd, and all those guys. Mm-hmm. That was kind of relevant to my analogy, but not really. I'm just a big SNL fan. And every once in a while, there's one of those SNL newbies, like a cast member shows up, and they're immediately like superstar, right? Will Ferrell was this way. Mike Myers was this way. And do you know what is like a dirty little secret of those, Dana Carvey was this way.
Yep.
They oftentimes are doing characters that they've been doing at like their improv troops for like 10 years. Dana Carvey with Church Lady. Mike Myers with the Wayne's World. Like they had been doing these characters for 5+ years. They get to SNL and it's like, boom, shot out of a cannon, this brand new crazy character that's unbelievable. And everyone's like, where did this young comedian come from? And it's like, oh no, they've messed up on stage in that character so many times. They have it honed down to perfection. That's kind of what Caleb Williams looked like with the Bears, right? It was like, whoa, look at him. He's making these on-time throws in the RPO game. He's scrambling out and making off-time, off-platform throws. And I'm like, no. He's been playing that at USC for the last 2 years, right? Oh, he's got a crazy improv throw on this screen that led to a 40-yard completion. And I'm going like, well, yeah, I saw that to Marshawn Lloyd like 5 times last year. Right? Jaden Daniels, guess what he did on his first and only drive for Washington? Completed a deep ball, which is what he did best at LSU, and then ran in a touchdown on a read keep game. Yeah, I think we saw that a few times a season ago.
Once or twice.
He wasn't, remember, like when Michael Vick went into the NFL, Michael Vick would run circles around everybody at Virginia Tech. Got to the NFL, they were like, can you run play action and hit Algie Crumpler on a seam route? It's like, well, I mean, yeah, he could. He's that good, but why would you take away the special? J.J. McCarthy played into the second half, threw some deep touchdowns on third down. What did he do at Michigan? Handoff until they needed to get a third down completion. Look at that. He was comfortable on third down. Even Michael Penix, who's not expected to play, tossed a few of his patented deep balls on target, right? The ones that feel like they'd fit into not even a bucket, like a small pail, right? They did what they were supposed to do. Now, Drake May played 7 snaps with 3 throws, did not much memorable. So hopefully he'll fit into this bucket, UNC fans. Hopefully he'll fit into this group I'm talking about. But that will also require the Patriots, who I am growing less confident in them as a quarterback developing group. They're going to have to do the things that he was asked to do at UNC. Do the things that he did so well that made you fall in love with him, right? It's one of the things I love about Shane Steichen and what they have going on up there. I believe it's with the Colts. And Anthony Richardson is everyone's like, oh, he got hurt last year. Are you going to tell him to run less? He was like, no, I wouldn't tell Steph Curry to stop shooting threes. I'm not going to tell Anthony Richardson not to run. He's 250 pounds and he runs a 4.4. We're going to let that guy run occasionally. Now, do it safer, do it a little bit, take a few less hits, sure. But, like, you have to let the players that you drafted for a reason use that reason to be good for you, right? Drake May, find the things he loved at UNC and run those with the Patriots, right? I was talking about it off air, and I said, don't be the Panthers from last year. I don't know if everybody remembers this, and I hope to goodness it wasn't the first time they had, thought of it. But there was a point in time, like week 3 or 4, when the Panthers offense was sputtering. I think it was Thomas Brown? It may have been Frank Reich. I forget who said it exactly. Said after a game, like, or it was a midweek media availability. We've been looking at Alabama's offense to try to find the things that Bryce is comfortable doing. And I'm going, in the middle of the regular season, you're doing that?
A little late there, bud.
Should have done that before you drafted him and planned how you were going to incorporate him into the offense. You had the number 1 pick. You could have been planning weeks and months before the draft for that guy to fit into your offense. That's what Drake May and some of these teams look like they were doing. That's what the Patriots have to do for Drake May. And that's what some of these teams look like they were doing already, and it showed in their limited play in preseason week 1. Caleb Williams played 2 series, popped off the screen in the way an uber-talented number 1 overall pick should. Also, what they asked him to do allowed him to pop off the screen in the way an uber-talented first overall pick should look. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are going to take a break, But first, I have to tell you about one of my favorite things to talk about. That is the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry in their Village District location in Raleigh. And today I'm going to focus on history. Blancpain is the oldest surviving watchmaking brand, founded by Johann Jacques Blancpain in Villeret, Switzerland. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing all of that correct. What I do know is when it comes to watchmaking brands, if you're the oldest, that means you're doing something right. If you've been around since 1735 like Blancpain has, that means you're doing something right. When you essentially created the dive watch, right now the dive watch as like a category is becoming very, very, very trendy as on your wrist at sporting events. If you want to maybe dress up a casual outfit or be cool and casual in a more formal outfit, you throw a dive watch on. Blancpain, basically created that with their 50 fathoms decades and decades and decades ago. So if you're interested in not just watchmaking, but the history behind it, the stories behind it, the innovation behind it, can't do much worse. Can't do much better. If you can do better, probably can't even do better than Blancpain. So go ahead and check them out when you walk in. The display case is awesome. Poke around at the other brands while you're there. But do not leave the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location without at least getting your eyes on Blancpain and the history that those watches represent. It's all at Fox & Bailey, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Village District location. Walk in the main doors, turn right. You can't miss it. And make sure while you're there you say you heard about it right here on 99.9 The Fan with Tim Donnelly. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the podium for the best Olympic moments. We give medals out to medal moments. Think about that. I give mine. Dennis gives his. You can send them to us on Twitter if you want, at Donnelly Sports, at The Fan Rookie, if you have some you don't want us to miss. The podium is coming up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
It feels like Jets fans are doing it to themselves all over again, falling head over heels for this team. I don't want to see another year where they have these high hopes and you see Aaron Rodgers running out of the tunnel in a primetime game and then 4 plays later, your season's over. I don't want them to have that type of letdown again.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
At Lowe's, we know how to save pros time and money. Save 20% on 1-gallon cans and 5-gallon pails of Valspar Defense or Cabinet Stain. Plus, save 15% on your choice of 6 or more Purdy items. And get free same-day delivery to the job site when you order by 2 p.m. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 8/21 while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See store or Lowes.com for details. Must be single receipt purchase. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowes.com/same-day delivery for details.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And you know, we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Longer days mean longer rides. Make sure your bike, your ATV, your side-by-side, even your golf cart are the best around. From sound station and security, we've got custom stereo systems, custom speakers, even video and LED lighting options for your bike, your ATV, and even your golf cart. Look the coolest on the road or at the lake, just tooling around. All available with installation from sound station and security, with 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump into the podium, I do want to let everybody know, if you are a big fan of the numbers game, which we play every weekday about 5:30 here on The Drive, we're going to get a little bit more competitive about it, right? Picking a winner every single day, right? Letting them battle it out, 2 contestants for an awesome prize. That's fun. But we're bringing all the champions to the stage. If you've gone 5 for 5, if you've posted a perfect score at any point in the past year, you're invited, and you've been invited, and we've probably already contacted you, reached you, and invited you to our inaugural Numbers Game live show presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. The invitation-only event brings past players together, past champs together, perfect scores together, August 21st, which is that a week from Wednesday, at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills. You can join us on YouTube as we crown a numbers champ live. The champion of champions. The top of the top, the cream of the crop. Special thanks to On-Site Audio Visuals, supplying the sights and sounds of the numbers game live. The night's going to be full of prizes and a few surprises. We have a few things up our sleeves. It's all happening August 21st, the numbers game live at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills. Now, let's get to one of the most aptly categorized editions of the podium. We have the podium where we're going to award our bronze, silver, and gold, just like we do every week. But this one's for best Olympic moments. So there's a good chance that, like, medals will have been won for these events that are winning medals in our podium. Bronze, silver, and gold, your favorite Olympic moments. I will say there's a lot. Like, we could spend 20 minutes here kind of in the whole, like, dudes naming dudes thing and just go, like, remember this, remember that, remember this,
remember when,
and remember when, and go back to, like, the beginning of the Olympics, and I don't think we'd run out of cool moments. Also, normally, and as I say often, Dennis and I don't compare notes before these.
We don't.
I like to try to predict in my head, like, what Dennis is going to go with and see if we align. I have absolutely no clue for this one. I think there's a bunch of different options that would all be deserving of the medal podium. We'll start with bronze. I think that makes sense. My bronze goes to Cole Hawker winning the 1,500 meter. It was a dramatic come-from-behind American gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I like it is I had actually read multiple articles and preview things about men's track and field. And this was supposed to be one of the races, one of, like, the races of the Olympics. Everyone was looking forward to it, the 1,500-meter men. But the reason why is because everyone thought there was this big two of Norway's Jacob Ingebrigtsen and Great Britain's Josh Kerr. And it was like, these are two of the best 1,500-meter runners ever. It's going to be a duo. It's going to be a duel. It's going to be these two best. And the American Cole Hawker just refused to let that be the narrative and was like, wouldn't it be a shame if somebody else came up and beat them both? Which I kind of respect that kind of mental outlook on, like, oh, you're telling me this is between Sosa and Griffey? Well, McGuire coming up here. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's just, there's always that, hey, what if that doesn't happen? That only, certain athletes have, and Cole Hawker had it. And I also love when someone wins a gold medal and they look more surprised than everyone else that's saying it's an all-time surprise. The announcers are like, oh, the upset of the Olympics, Cole Hawker. And then you look at Cole Hawker and his eyes are wide open like, did I actually just do that?
Yeah.
Did I actually just win a gold medal? It's like, buddy, if you're surprised, guess how we feel. So that's my bronze. Cole Hawker winning the 1,500 meter. Dennis, what do you have for yours?
Mine is Sifan Hassan from the Netherlands. She medaled bronze in the 5,000 meter, so the 5K.
Oh, I think I did see that.
Also medaled bronze in the 10,000 meter, so 10K. And then wins the marathon.
Mm-hmm.
She ran a 5K, and then a couple of days later ran a 10K, and then ran the marathon. None of the other marathoners ran those races. She medaled in all three.
And I think I saw
that's insane.
Like her total competitive distance was almost like 40 miles of the Olympics.
Yes.
That's pretty absurd.
I was like, how did you pull all this off?
Are there heats in any of those? Did she have to run like a prelim of the 5,000?
I don't think so. Yeah, exactly. Hey, go run a 5K just so you can run another 5K. Oh, and then run a 10K so you can run another 10K.
If that was your only event, you could put like a week and a half between it, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Nope, she ran all three of those.
That's absurd.
And then closed off with the marathon win yesterday.
I have to admit, maybe this is my blind spot. Maybe this is just me being USA. I didn't even consider going to a non-USA storyline, of which there were a bunch of really, really good ones. Like, don't get me wrong. And I enjoyed watching some of them. My silver, Alex Spiff Cedric, with what I can only consider, because I talk in football terms, the 95-yard punt return as time expired.
Oh, yeah.
In women's rugby.
To win the bronze.
To give the bronze to the United States women's rugby team, which was the first medal in United States women's rugby history. And when I tell you, like, beast mode would have been happy with this run, where she's back near her own goal line, she pummels a tackler onto their back, steps over him, and then outruns everybody in a straight line to the end zone. So it was a bit of like Marshawn Lynch at the beginning, followed up by like
Devin Hester.
Yeah, like Devin Hester at the end. As time pretty much expired in the bronze medal match to give their country a medal in an event that they've never won a medal in. And then you look it up and her name's Spiff Cedric. I mean, that's make the Disney movie. And then, like, the women's rugby team had their minute. They had, like, their 2 days where they were really famous. And then just other Olympics things kind of got rolling and you moved on. But I wanted to bring them back up because that moment was awesome. What's your silver?
My silver is Leon Marchand, the French swimmer, which I thought it was super cool especially when he was doing all the different events, especially when he was doing the breaststroke. Anytime his head was coming out of the water, they would just chant his name. Mm-hmm. To be in your home country, win 4 gold medals, and to be the star early on, super awesome for him.
Now I can kind of tease LeBron because they won the gold medal and you know, no salt in the wound. Did you see LeBron when Leon Marchand walked into the arena?
No.
So LeBron's on the sideline, right, during one of the games. USA is winning. And I believe they put him up on the Jumbotron momentarily. And then Leon Marchand walked in, and the entire crowd, because it's in Paris, right, he's the hometown, everything. He had already won his 4 gold. The entire crowd erupts for Leon, and LeBron thinks they're erupting for him. So he does his little, like, put the crown on his head celebration and is, like, acting all cool. Had nothing to do with him. Nobody was paying attention to him. Everybody was, you know, the hometown hero was getting his hero's welcome as he walked into the basketball arena. And LeBron, because, you know, in LeBron's defense, he's probably conditioned to think most gigantic cheers are about him, right? Most places he goes, if there's a big cheer,
yeah, generally makes
chances
sense.
are it's for him. But it was funny to see him put the crown on, and nobody was looking at him. Nobody in the crowd was cheering for him. Finally, gold medal, best Olympic moment. This one is, I talked about it before the Olympics. I talked about it during the Olympics. This is not a surprise for anybody. Sydney McLaughlin Lavroni in the 400-meter hurdles final, where it is one thing to dominate. It is another to dominate in that fashion to the point where you have to stop comparing her to, like, her competitors in her event because she dirtied them so badly. and start comparing her to a different event that is easier, meaning her 400-meter hurdles time that she won in the finals would have been the 9th fastest 400-meter time without hurdles at this year's Olympics. That is bananas. And to just know like you're that dominant over everyone else in the world at your event is, I have to imagine, just like a natural high that you can't beat. And it got to the point where she did run in the 4x400 meter.
Yeah, ran the second leg.
She ran the second leg and turned in the 3rd fastest split in a 4x400 meter in history.
Yeah.
That's not her event. That's not her. I mean, I don't even know how to describe that. It's like, I said I don't know how to describe it because I can't. She is just, for me, the most dominant person at the Olympics in their one event. Obviously, Katie Ledecky would be the other argument, and very easily could have gone there in the 1,500 meter. But it just, something about everything moving slow and swimming. It's like, everyone's moving so fast on the track, and she still won by 20 meters. Like, it's unreal. So give me Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone 400-meter hurdles. I hope she comes back and does it again in L.A.
Oh, I have no doubt that she will. There's a lot of great moments to choose from.
There's a lot left on the cutting room floor.
There's tons left out there. I mean, just the basketball games in and of themselves are worthy of it. The men's and women's, the championships against France were just phenomenal. The way that the 4x400 for the U.S. women's team and track, just no one else on the screen when they cross the finish line. Katie Ledecky, all those things you mentioned. But to me, how narrow thin the 100-meter was, the Noah Lyles.
I considered it was on my board.
0.005 seconds was the difference between gold and silver.
And people are really getting on the announcer for announcing it as if the Jamaican won. They're saying, they didn't do that on the BBC. I think it kind of adds to it.
Yeah.
Like, it was so close. They announced the wrong winner. And Noah Lyles, I think he knew. Like, I think he leaned and nipped him at the line. But, I mean, 0.005. I don't even – is that a blink? Is it a blink?
I think it's less than a blink.
Less than a blink. Goodness gracious. And think, like, with how his 200-meter went, finished in bronze and the COVID and everything, Noah Lyles is one of the stars of this Olympics. Like, if you're the 100-meter dash champion, you really can't argue against it.
Mm-hmm.
If he's 0.006 slower, massive disappointment of an Olympics. He leaves with no gold.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't win the 200, which he was heavily favored in. Isn't able to run in the 4x1, which they lose anyway. It becomes a huge disappointment of an Olympics. 0.006 for Noah Lyles changes everything. I was also just talking about this. Olympians, and this is just a side thing, and then we'll move on to actually the 2028 Olympics. Olympians, just in a group text talking about this. They don't always look like they're moving that fast, right? Because Tyreek Hill is talking a little trash to Noah Lyles about, like, I'll beat him in a race. Like, Tyreek Hill looks like he's working so much harder than like these elite Olympians. They just glide. They're so powerful, but it's like a thoroughbred horse where it's like, are they just trotting or are they going 30 miles an hour? It's absurd. And everyone in any of those sprints, I try to say this at once in Olympics, like, everyone aside from the people that they just ran against, they are faster than. Like, if you finish 7th in the Olympics, like, everyone that is not in that starting block with you in the world, you are faster than. You recognize every person in the world that's faster than you. Think about how crazy that is.
It's wild.
And now we have to look towards, I saw this, ready? 1,433 days until the 2028 Summer Olympics in L.A.
Start counting.
If you're somebody that loves the Olympics like I do, 1,433 days, that's all you have to wait. And if you're somebody that loves America like I do, the next Olympics are going to be very American.
Makes sense.
In L.A., Tom Cruise was like the torch passer guy at the closing ceremonies of the Olympics. He's jumping out of planes. He's bringing them all over the world, the flames and everything. I do want to ask this question, right? Because after watching France do what I think is actually a pretty good job, the opening ceremonies were weird and wouldn't have been what I've chosen. And they had too much other countries, like they promoted Nadal, who's Spanish, and Celine Dion, who's Canadian, and Lady Gaga, who's American. Like, other than that, I think Paris did a pretty good job running the Olympics, right? Cool venues. Obviously, the river was a huge issue, but I guess what are you going to do? Knowing that the rest of the world is going to look at us in the Olympics and form some opinions the way I formed some opinions about Paris, was Tom Cruise the best we could offer? I kind of want cool, like if it's going to be Hollywood, if you're going to lean into it's LA, it's Hollywood, couldn't it be cool Hollywood, not cliche Hollywood? I want like Christopher Nolan to direct the opening ceremonies, right? Give me a Scorsese scene to open the opening ceremonies. Not, and I don't disrespect anybody that likes this, because at times I do. Not Tom Cruise doing another stunt that we've seen in every other Mission Impossible movie. Right? Like, I love a popcorn thriller. I love a blockbuster. You just want to go in for 2 hours, see some cool stunts, eat some popcorn, turn your brains off. I think there's a market for that. I don't know if that's the best thing we could offer from LA to the rest of the world. I'm like, this is what we've got going on in Hollywood. Just think we could do a little cooler. With that being said, I didn't realize this. Did all of us watch the breaking? Did you see Ray Gun?
Oh, yeah, of course.
The Australian breakdancer.
How could you not see it?
That was – breaking is not in the 2028 Olympics.
No, it's not.
And part of it is because starting it with the Tokyo Olympics, the Olympic governing body started encouraging the host city to propose adding in some sports on like a trial basis, right? If they go awesome, we'll keep them. If not, we'll move on. Never the twain shall we speak again. Based on kind of what you have going on or what your culture is interested in. So I guess breaking, there's a France-Parisian interest in that, so they did it in the Paris Olympics. 5 new sports will be introduced or reintroduced into the Olympics in LA in 2028. 4 of them, very American. There's baseball, softball, flag football, lacrosse, and squash.
Let's go lacrosse, baby.
Baseball, American pastime. Mm-hmm. Softball, the women's equivalent of the American pastime. Mm-hmm. Flag football, American, it's called American football. Yeah. They just do it flag because it's a little safer. And then lacrosse, as you brought up, I think that's a uniquely American thing. It was, I believe, started by the Native Americans. Yeah. And
by the Iroquois? Upstate New York and Canada. It's very North American.
So, all right, yeah, Canada as well. I guess we'll claim part of it. I know it's branched out internationally in the last handful of years, which is why it makes sense as an Olympic sport. But
92 countries that compete in it.
For a long time, it was a not even American sport. It was like a Northeast sport, and until it's broken out in popularity. So there is some a very decidedly American flavor to the Olympics that'll be hosted in America, and not bad business people behind these decisions. Flag football added with a heavy push from the NFL. Look at this. They still want players to want to play football, and if they won't play contact football from a very young age like we did when I was a kid, let's get them playing flag football till high school, then strap the pads on them and find out who's going to be the next Patrick Mahomes. Baseball and softball, neither of which were played in Paris, making their return. Here's the interesting part. Major League Baseball has said it is open to discussing potentially pausing the MLB schedule around the All-Star break to allow players to participate in the Olympic Games, which ESPN called it would be a boon for the inclusion of the sport in future games. Here's what football and baseball are realizing. It's really good business for the NBA that the Olympics makes their team superstars every 4 years globally. It's really good for international media rights. It's really good for international merchandise. It's really good for your players. I don't know if it's possible because Steph Curry's already a wildly global superstar. After that gold medal game, which had bonkers ratings, by the way, it was like 20 million people were watching it at its peak. Steph Curry's a bigger star now than he was before the Olympics. And I didn't think that was possible because he's already like every 9-year-old's favorite player. Like he is a legit super global icon. And I believe the NFL and Major League Baseball are trying to do the same to their game by including them in the Olympics. If you had, Dennis brought this up, the World Baseball Classic moment where Shohei Ohtani was pitching to Mike Trout in the Olympics, that is one of the most watched moments of an Olympics that would become, part of the highlight package, right? Might be in our podium for best Olympians, right? If you had a flag football, and I don't know if they would do active players because they'd kind of go into training camp, but maybe they do it at the beginning of the Olympics. Who knows? If you have flag football with even recently retired players, it just keeps growing the game globally in a way that, could have an impact like the Barcelona 92 games had on basketball. Think about how crazy that would be. The 92 Olympics, and then however many years ago that was. Now you look at the best players in the world. It's a Serbian. Where is Luka from?
Slovenia.
Slovenian. It's a Giannis, which is Greek / I believe he has a history in a few other countries. Like the best players. It's a global sport now. I've said this a long time. Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, they're great, right? One's the GOAT of all time. One's the best right now. They're fantastic. There's a decent chance the best quarterback to ever live grew up thinking he was a terrible soccer player. Because he was born in a country that just didn't expose him to American football. So, if you really want the game to be the best it possibly could be, you need to make it a global sport. And what better way to do that than the Olympics? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we hit a little bit of a break here, I do want to give everybody an update on Seth Jarvis. Canes, young player. The only player that doesn't kind of have his situation ironed out moving forward for the Canes into next year.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's going on.
Nothing.
That's
it. That's the
update. Is there's no update.
There's no update.
I wish there was more for me to pass along. I want it to happen, but every day I walk in and I say, did they sign Seth Jarvis to a deal? Paul Ihander, who's usually in his office, goes, nope. And I go, all right. And I sit back down and I figure out what else we're going to talk about today. I want it to be news, but there's not, and it just feels weird that we haven't talked about it in a while, so now we've talked about it.
5 weeks from tomorrow, their first preseason game.
Is that the deadline? I hope not. Is it after that? I really hope not.
They'll get it done before camp.
When does
training
camp
camp
start?
is basically 4 weeks.
I was going to say, training camp has to be even sooner than that.
Yeah,
so
4 weeks.
I like that. Let's do it by next Tuesday. Why not?
Labor Day. Let's set
a deadline. Just get it done. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending, and of course that includes Gordon Miller. It's funny. I'm not going to name names here, but I have seen a few of the other brands in mortgage lending, maybe some that are more nationwide, starting right now to promote things that aren't even as good as, but are similar to what I've been telling you about Gordon Miller and Miller Lending for months and months and months, if not years by now, right? The no closing cost loan and being flexible to take advantage of a market that, quite frankly, not many people can predict what's going to happen right now, right? Kind of happens in years where there's as much turmoil in the markets or as much, obviously, up in the air with an election. It's hard to predict, and being flexible and being able to pounce when opportunities arise becomes so important. And Gordon Miller and Miller Lending would have you in that situation, being flexible, being ready to adapt and pounce at opportunities already if you had been working with them in the past. And if you want to be that moving forward, just work with them now. They have a no closing cost loan, which means if the rates drop a little bit, refinance. If they drop a little bit more, refinance. It's not money out of your pocket each time you do it. If they go back up, cool. Sit and chill. Wait for them to come down, right? It's all about being flexible, all about being adaptable. Gordon's been doing no closing cost loans since 1987. Miller Lending's been doing them since they opened up shop here in the market. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan encourages you to call 919-447-3377 for Gordon Miller and Miller Lending. Stop buying down rates that you won't keep for more than a few or a handful of years, and instead be ready to pivot. 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, the reason why I can't talk about UNC football as much as I want to. Stick around.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Noah Lyles is finishing winning gold. Fastest man in the world. Coolest guy ever. Bragging rights against everyone he's ever going to walk into. The guy that finishes fourth is like his head is at Noah Lyles' shoulder. No medals. Best deal. Fastest man. And not even on the podium. I feel for that guy.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Is foot pain keeping you from living the life you love? Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet Store, and life is too short to be living with foot, knee, or back pain. When all four arches in your feet are supported, the results can be amazing. Go to goodfeet.com to make your appointment today.
Lenny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I am having a really hard time thinking or talking or analyzing the UNC football team too much right now. And I want to, right? One of the teams in the triangle, right? Mac Brown, obviously a fascinating character. I'm a massive fan, as you probably know too much already, of Omarion Hampton, some of the players on the defense for UNC. I'm having a hard time talking about them or analyzing them without knowing who their quarterback is going to be. And it's a shame because I think they're a really interesting team going into this year. I just don't know where to start. Max Johnson and Connor Harrell, the two pretty much front runners to be their starting quarterback. I know Jacoby Criswell also on the roster, but he started at a disadvantage after transferring back in a little bit later. Max Johnson and Connor Harrell are simply so different that they change the way I would think of the UNC Tar Heels. Max Johnson has started the entirety of one season in his career, 2021 at LSU. In that year, he totaled 39 negative rushing yards. Now, if you're aware of how they keep stats in college, sacks count as negative rushing yards. But still, you would think somebody, if they're fleet of foot at all, could at least end in the positives. Negative 39 rushing yards. That's what Max Johnson brings to the table, which I think it's fair to say then the appeal of having Max Johnson as your quarterback would be his ability to throw.
Little context here on college football rushing stats like sacks count.
Yeah,
against you.
I just explained that.
Yeah.
Connor Harrell was listed the other option in the quarterback competition. Almost called it a controversy. Not a controversy yet. Quarterback competition. Connor Harrell listed as a dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. The first play that I can remember Connor Harrell kind of being like, oh, look at that, was a 61-yard touchdown run against Campbell where he looked every bit as a runner. Right? In that the one start he has, I think he had 15-plus carries. Didn't do a ton with it, but he is that was in the bowl game. He is a guy that brings a certain amount of spice with his legs. So I'm looking at this team, and I'm like, all right, what do I know about UNC, right? All right, let's talked about NC State, maybe talked about Duke. Let's zero in on UNC here. What can I talk about? And I know that Omarion Hampton will be the engine that drives the offense. He had 1,500 yards last year, whole mess of touchdowns. He is All-American pick at running back. He's going to be the offense that drives the the engine that drives the offense. Okay, cool. I can't take it a step further than that. Because what is the offense? How will he be the engine that drives the offense? It's up in the air until you know who's sharing the backfield with him at quarterback. Right? If it's Harrell, you can run some of the read keep stuff, read option stuff that will then threaten a defense in a way. Like, let me just paint a picture for you. Connor Harrell hands the ball off to Omarion Hampton. Then he feigns, he fakes, like he brings the ball back into his stomach, covers it up, and runs off left tackle. The defense has to respect that because Harrell brings a certain level of ability with his legs that if a running back or a linebacker or a safety or somebody doesn't go with him, you might get caught, right? Giving up a big play. Now Max Johnson's in the game, same thing. Hands the ball off to Omarion Hampton, fakes it into his stomach, and runs 6'5", right, 230, whatever he is, runs off left tackle. They're going to be significantly less likely to have guys go with him, which means you need better blocking, you need more blocking, you need Omarion Hampton to shake off a tackler, you need something else on the front side. Or how about this, right? Max, like it's. I'm trying to think of the NFL equivalents here. The Ravens, and I know Connor Harrell's not Lamar Jackson, but just stick with me here. The Ravens don't necessarily need a passing game to have a really effective running game because they can spread with their multiple threats to run the ball. They can get guys going in the wrong direction and use deception and misdirection to have openings in the run game. We'll use the Bengals back when they had Joe Mixon, right? They had an effective running game, right? Joe Mixon was always near 1,000, 1,200 yards, whatever it is. But the way they opened up the run game was by threatening with Joe Burrow throwing the ball, right? Because you never want Joe Burrow, going downhill between the tackles because chances are he'll pop something, meaning an injury, not like pop a big run. That's kind of the difference in philosophies between the two quarterbacks for UNC, right? If Max Johnson's in, you open up things for Omarion Hampton by keeping the defenses honest with the arm. Connor Harrell, you could do it with the arm, or you could do it with him keeping it a few times and keeping the defense honest on the read keep game. So I don't even know where to start with the offense because we don't know who the quarterback's going to be. And you might even argue that affects the defense. Because if you have just a run offense that's never throwing the ball, defense knows even a 3 and out is going to give them like 10 minutes on the bench. So then maybe they're blitzing more. Then maybe they're rotating less defensive linemen in because they're not getting tired as much. Meanwhile, if you go 3 and out with 3 incomplete passes, defense is back out on the field exhausted, and you're going to have to rotate through, and you might have to sit back in coverage.
20 seconds only came off the clock. Yeah. We're right back out here.
That's when the defense jogs on the field with scowls for the offense. Like it changes everything. So UNC fans, I'm telling you out loud on this show, I wish I could talk about your team more. I want to. I just don't know where to go with it until the quarterback gets named. Mac Brown was asked how much closer they are to naming a starting quarterback. Here it is in the coach's own words.
We'll have a scrimmage on Saturday that will be a really good scrimmage like the first one. And then after that, we'll start looking hard at depth charts and personnel more and more.
So we got a date to start talking about like a deadline to start talking about making a decision.
We'll tell you when we tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mac Brown was asked about the differences in the quarterbacks on the team as well, which is kind of what I've been talking about. This is what the coach said.
It is. All three of them are good enough. That's a good thing. Now we got to figure out who's the one that gives us the best chance to win. And you've got differences in that Connor can throw and runs 4.4. He hadn't played very much. Max has played 1,600 games and thrown 900 passes in the SEC and played against very tough competition in a tough league and loud stadiums. And Jacoby's behind them simply because he wasn't here for the spring. So right now it would be Max and Connor competing at the highest level and Jacoby coming on.
Connor runs a 4.4. Max Johnson has thrown a bunch of passes. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's how Mac Brown described him, right? Connor's inexperienced, but he runs a 4.4. Max Johnson has played a ton of games and thrown a ton of passes. How do you prepare for those two, and how do you analyze an offense that could be that different? I could sit here and wax poetic about J.J. Jones and Nate McCollum and Bryson Nesbitt, the pass catcher. But it's hard to even know what roles they're going to have until I know, like, are you throwing it 30 times a game or are you throwing it 20 times a game? I could talk about the offensive line. Think about your job, how different it is as a tackle. If you have, and this is not a derogatory term, if you have a statue as a quarterback, right, and as an offensive tackle, you always know where he's going to be, right? He's going to catch the shotgun snap, he's going to back up 3 yards, and he is going to be at 8 yards getting ready to throw the ball. Right? 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Or if you have somebody that could be anywhere. You want to hear a dirty little secret about offensive line play? As long as you are between the defender and the quarterback, you can pretty much get away with any hold you want, right? Because if they're running towards the quarterback and you're in between them, you're holding. There's no jersey stretching. There's no anything. The hard one is when you're holding and then the quarterback escapes out of the back or out of the pocket. And now suddenly the defensive player is trying to run away from you, and that's when jerseys stretch. It changes even as little as like how much you can get away with holding. And that's just one small thing. Now, Mac Brown has said over and over again, and he kind of hinted at it there, 7 to 10 days, right? He doesn't want it to go into the final week of preparation for their season opener. I get that. And we'll break down all of the insights and everything else once they make that decision. But it's really hard to talk about what this team is going to look like, what they're going to do, or what their top end is until we know who's going to be their quarterback. So that's why I'm not talking about him as much. Because I like, to use a rival, I could talk about NC State's offense till I'm out of breath because I know what Grayson McCall does well. I know what his job is going to be. It's going to be to distribute to all of these playmakers. I know who the running backs are. I know what their role is going to be in the offense. Like all of that, it's lined up. It's more known, ironically, because they have a ton of transfers, but at least we know like who they're going to be depending on.
Do you think UNC knows and they're just not telling us? Just to keep Minnesota guessing?
Possibly. And
actually, coaches do that stuff all the time.
They do. And actually, one of the only times I think it makes sense is when they are disparaging, that's the wrong word, different skill sets. Mm-hmm. Like when it's like you have a 6'3" pocket passer and a 6'5" pocket passer in there, and I'm like, just name it, right? They're getting ready for a pocket passer.
Yeah, they're getting ready for a pocket passer.
But if it's like, hey, we might have to have spies ready for Connor Harrell, and we might have to, not rush as hard to make sure we're setting the edge and keeping him in the pocket, or, we might have to have our secondary ready for quick game against Max Johnson. Maybe that is something they could do. Mac Brown doesn't strike me as that, though. He strikes me as somebody that recognizes, he's done his time in the media. Like, he knows that, like, the starter wants to feel like the starter, right? He wants to know those questions he wants answered. So, I maybe. I'm not going to say they don't. But he strikes me as someone is like once he knows, he'll just love it.
I just remember like 2 years ago when it was Drake May and Jacoby Criswell, when it was like a competition, mm-hmm. and I'm like, everyone's like, it's going to be Drake May, right? It's going to be Drake May. It's going to be Drake May. And Mac did not name him the starter. Mac Brown said, well, he will be the first quarterback on the field in our season opener. I'm like, oh, so he's your starter? Like, no. He's just going to be the first quarterback out there on the field. I'm like,
it's a great point.
But he never actually officially named a starter before the first game.
And I would even – there's more motivation to do that now than then because the transfer portal is so rampant, right? You want to keep everybody on the hook as long as you can. So maybe, like I said, maybe. It just feels like we're really getting the split reps. And, again, if they're pulling the okey doke on us, good on them. But then guess what? I still can't talk about your offense till you tell me. Even if you know, give me, like, I do the hostage thing. Blink twice if it's Johnson. Itch your nose if it's Connor Harrell. Let me in so I can really start diving into what your team's going to do. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Starting five is coming up next, and we will lead off with Panthers practice today. What was the story of today's practice? Stick around.
Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company want you to see football live in Las Vegas. It's our Fan Football Flyaway. Listen weekdays through August 29th. We'll reveal keywords every hour from noon to 6. Text in the keywords to enter for chances to win a trip for two to Las Vegas. We'll fly you to an amazing room at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino, and we'll hook you up with seats for the Carolina-Las Vegas game. The Fan Football Flyaway, only on 99.9 The Fan.
Viva Las Vegas. Are you ready to rule the realm? With the new Game of Thrones scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can. This epic game gives you the chance to win up to $200,000 instantly, or a trip to beautiful Napa Valley to play the Seven Kingdoms experience, where you could take home your share of up to $7 million in cash prizes. So treat yourself like royalty. Play the Game of Thrones scratch-off today, and let your reign begin. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds are 1 in 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at DewOutdoors.com. Ends 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Want a great deal on Mountain Dew? Handy Hugo's offering 2 20-ounce Mountain Dews for just $4. Do the Dew at Handy Hugo's today.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Celebrate the month of August with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $115 and take 25% off your air duct cleaning on top of that. Visit ZeroResRaleigh.com or call 919-995-0000.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm
I'm WRL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. A couple of showers or storms remain possible through the early evening hours. Temperatures staying in the mid to upper 80s this afternoon. Tonight we'll have mostly cloudy skies. We'll get down to 69, and then some scattered showers and storms possible again Tuesday afternoon and evening with a high of 84.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down 140 points to 39,357. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
Before we get to the starting five, it is time for our 5 o'clock keyword in our fan football flyaway. Sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company. For your chance for the 5 o'clock hour to win a trip for two to Las Vegas, see Carolina play football against the Silver and Black, and all of the cool stuff that comes in the fan football flyaway, the flights, and everything else. The keyword you have to text in before 6 o'clock is catch. C-A-T-C-H. Catch. If you text catch in to 919-860-5326 by 6 o'clock, you will gain an entry into the fan football flyaway. Keyword catch. You can watch a football game and you might not know what a catch is. You have to possess it for 2 steps, 3 steps, 1 foot down, 2 foot down. Can the ground help it? Can the ground not? You don't have to know what a catch is. You just have to text in catch to 919-860-5326 by 6 o'clock to gain this hour's entry into the fan football flyaway. And then after this hour, the next one will come in the noon hour tomorrow during the Adam Gold Show. Text in that keyword during that hour. For this hour, it's catch. Now let's jump into the starting five, starting with number 5. Panthers practice this morning. The word out of Panthers practice is the defense got the better of the offense. Right? It's going to happen. Even good offenses have days where the defense just has their number. And sometimes it's not always on the up and up. I remember my senior year, one of our defensive backs coming up to me at lunch and just started signaling in all our plays to me. We were at lunch. Senior defensive back, over 4 years, had pretty much learned our entire offense through the signals. So he could just look over at he was like Michigan. He could just look over at our sideline and go like, all right, here comes the double posts, and be sitting in the perfect spot. So it's not always on the up and up. Sometimes the defense gets the better of the offense, and it's not even like they played better. But I do think it's important to set expectations for the Panthers in that the Panthers are going to be further along on defense. They didn't change coaches on defense. They were better than the offense last year on defense. They're starting with a head start against the Panthers offense. And then on top of that, a lot of the new guys the Panthers brought in on offense, if you're looking at Deontay Johnson, if you're looking at Xavier Legette, if you're looking at Jonathan Brooks, who's hurt, if you're looking at Robert Hunt on the offensive line, Damian Lewis on the offensive line, these guys don't necessarily have a ton of experience in the Dave Canales offense, right? So they're learning not only who their teammates are, but also the offense. If you look at the defense, everybody that's returning from last year has experience in Ejiro Evero's defense, and a lot of the new guys, right? You're looking at Ashawn Robinson, one of their big free agents. Jordan Fuller, a guy expected to come in and start at safety. You're looking at Dane Jackson. I believe. Nope, he has experience with Dan Morgan, not necessarily Evero. But a lot of the Evero connections around Josie Jewell with Denver, great example. They've worked with Evero in the past, so they're not even starting from square one, which is essentially exactly what Jordan Fuller says right here.
We've learned the defense similarly, and we've been in like similar defenses and stuff like that. So the carryover is pretty easy, and it's kind of seamless how we gel together, which is pretty cool. Obviously, we have a long way to go. Whole bunch of practices to that first game, and then throughout the whole season get better too. But yeah, I like how it's coming together right now.
They're so far ahead just mentally on defense because of the situation they've been put in. And then on top of that, they were better last year. It's really tough for me to get an honest read on how Panthers training camp is going because I'm so skeptical of everything, right? Jonathan Mingo and Terrace Marshall Jr. were having great camps. My antennas went up to be like, is that really bad for the defense? Because I have not seen them be exceptional wide receivers before. And then when they don't play their starters, they sat 33 guys in the preseason game 1. I didn't even get that measure against another team. So basically what I'm saying is hopefully we learn a lot, and hopefully we learn a lot of good news when they start these joint practices with the Jets on Thursday. Right? Because if the Jets are rolling over them, I'm going to go, does the defense look good just because they're going up against Panthers offense? But I don't want that question to be in my brain every single time we talk. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
We are the 4 horsemen. Woo!
A coaching legend here in the Triangle is retiring. With that being Anson Dorrance, the head women's soccer coach, the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. There are a few people that become like completely synonymous with their program. Dorrance is one of them. This is the stat that blows my mind. 47 years as UNC head coach. This was tweeted out by UNC Women's Soccer. 47 years as UNC head coach. 22 national championships.
That's absurd.
I mean, that's like...
That is insane.
I mean, I know it's not, but it feels like 50% of the time you start a season, you're going to win. 22 out of 47, I think it's like 47% of the time you start a season, you are going to win a national championship. That's absurd, and it gets crazier. 22 ACC championships as well, so same numbers apply. 19 National Players of the Year. Out of 47 years, he coached 19 National Players of the Year. The success is hard to comprehend for most college coaches. I mean, if you coach 47 years and you have 3 national championships, 2 National Players of the Year, handful of conference championships, like they named the field after you. Like it's that kind of success. So 22 national championships? And also, like Mia Hamm said, this is a direct tweet from her yesterday. I owe so much to Anson Dorrance, his Twitter handle, Dorrance Anson, UNC Women's Soccer and UNC for making me into the player and person I am today. Congrats on the legendary career, Anson. Enjoy the walk. Well, that's Mia Hamm. She's probably the greatest of all time as a player, just shouting you out on your retirement. It's a good cosign. Now it becomes, and we again, I know you don't like being compared. It's the John Shire question. Who wants to be the one to follow that act? Where if you go like 4 years without a national championship, what the heck is going on? Following the legend is sometimes a tough one. Christine Lilly shouted her out. I mean, it's a who's who. Anything you want to add, Dennis?
I can't comprehend just having won 22 national championships in one location. The fact, over 47 years, if you made 22 NCAA tournaments, that's
you're
impressive.
Keeping your job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're keeping your job.
It is
wild.
He would never admit it, and no one ever should. Do you think it ever dulled down a little bit? Do you think it ever became like, yep, another national championship? Yeah, this one feels similar to the first 18. Like, I know the goal is always a national championship. It's like, we weren't as dominant this one as we were the previous 4. So, a little disappointing in this national champion. I don't know. I've never won 22 championships at anything, so I'll never know. I will say, if anyone ever won like 22 out of 47 like fantasy football championships I was in, we'd probably kick him out of the league. I'm kidding. We wouldn't. We'd competitive spirit, but you'd want to at times. That's number 4. Let's jump to number 3.
1, 2, 3.
Matt Kuchar, PGA Tour professional, had the opportunity to do everybody a solid yesterday. He was on the 18th hole. He was in 12th place. This is the Wyndham Championship here in North Carolina, Sedgwick. It was getting a little dark. He had the opportunity to just finish it out. 2 more swings, one approach to the green, right? Finish it out, 3 more strokes, whatever it ends up being. Par the hole, go home, count your money. You'd made a couple $100,000. Instead, he marked his ball and said, it's too dark. I cannot keep playing. I want to come back and finish my round tomorrow. Now, I want to be clear. If you're in the lead of a tournament, go nuts, right? Whatever you got to do to win. If you are somebody playing for your PGA Tour card, right? You're somebody who, like, finishing top 10 changes your life. Go nuts, do whatever you got to do. If you're somebody like Matt Kuchar, who I say as a compliment is one of the most accomplished golfers of this generation, has made $60+ million in his career, has won a multitude of times, a bunch of top 10s. Matter of fact, prior to deciding to not finish Sunday and finish today, he had already broken a string of 17 straight playoff appearances. So he's not going to the FedEx playoffs this year, and nothing he could have done on the 18th hole could have changed that. He broke a streak of almost 20 years. Like, he is really good. Instead, he decided to come back and finish today, which he did this morning. Took him 6 minutes. Play started at 8. It stopped at 8:06. It gave everyone else a ton of work. And I want to emphasize, it may sound like, well, that's their job. The grounds crew at that course this week already moved mountains. Think of all the rain we had, the 9 days, and the hurricane remnants that came through.
Thanks, Debbie.
In the last 9 or 10 days here in North Carolina. They had a golf course that was not only not underwater, but prepared and ready to play a PGA Tour event on that course. You know what that means. That means they were not going home at 5 o'clock. They were staying late. They were getting to the course at 2 a.m. They were sleeping in 45-minute cat naps to get that course ready. And because Matt Kuchar couldn't just take 2 shots with all the lights in the world shining. It was a grandstand hole, so there were a bunch of lights and everything else shining. Couldn't just take a few more shots. He made all of those grounds crew do another day of work. The grounds crew that makes PGA Tour events possible. The PGA Tour officials that don't get paid like the players that make those events possible so the players can make $60 million in their career, like Matt Kuchar. And by the way, I would have been okay if he played it cool today. He doubled down and stuck to his guns. If he would have come out and said, listen, I got caught up in it. I was mad the tour was making us play into the darkness. I made a stance, and then I was stubborn. My bad. I would have been cool with it. I would have said, all right, yeah, you're a competitor. Everyone gets caught up in it. Right? Every once in a while you see a basketball player going, not every once in a while, every game you see a basketball player going, I didn't touch him. I didn't foul him. Then you watch the replay, and they, smacked him 3 times in the face and twice on the arm. I'm like, you're that caught up that you're arguing that one? If he just put his hand up and said, my bad, I'd be cool with it. Especially with, and golf nerds will know, I talked about it earlier, he has a history of some sketchy kind of code-breaking decisions that make him seem like a little bit of a jerk.
The worst.
That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the 2 of us.
The preseason AP poll in college football came out today. The highlights, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, 1, 2, and 3. For the ACC, Florida State is 10, Clemson 14, 19 is Miami, NC State comes in at 24th. Notre Dame, who I don't know, I know it's not ACC, but it's kind of not ACC, they're 7th. I think that's a little high for the Fighting Irish. I think they're giving Riley Leonard a lot of credit. Do you know what's wild? And I stole this from Brett McMurphy, Action Sports. There has been at least one team every season in the past 30 years, with the exception of 2011 and 2020, that started unranked but finished the year final AP top 10. So there's somebody unranked that's going to be in the top 10. And this year, that means a lot more because the top 10 is almost guaranteed to be in the college football playoff. There's at least one team that's not on this list that will likely be in the college football playoff. It's cool. At least one. Another thing, if you look at the last, I forget how many years it was, I think it's like since 2004, every single team that has won the national championship has either been a top 7 team in the preseason AP top 25 or had a number 1 overall pick at quarterback. The only 2 teams that have made it out of the top 7 in the preseason to win the national championship are Florida State with Jameis and Auburn with Cam Newton. Every other one has started in the top 7, which tells you Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Bama, Ole Miss, or Notre Dame. Or a team out there that may or may not have the number 1 overall pick at quarterback, and that could be a whole host of teams, right? That could be a whole bunch of teams because there really isn't that Caleb Williams already above everybody NFL draft prospect. Which, by the way, you could say Jameis Winston may have been that, but Cam certainly wasn't because he was coming from JUCO to Auburn that year. From an NC State perspective, they are inside the top 25 of the AP poll for just the second time under Dave Doran and just the third time since 2000. So if you say
that's to start the season, correct?
To start the preseason AP.
Gotcha.
They've made it into the AP top 25 at some point in 6 of the last 7 years, and they've finished in the AP top 25 3 times under Doran. So if you kind of look at that, you can deduce that traditionally the AP top 25 doesn't rank NC State as high as they eventually will get during the year, right? Their high point is higher than where they're initially ranked. Does that mean that at some point they're going to be higher than 24? Probably. It's going to be, can they hold on to it? What I like about NC State is we're going to know in their first 4 games how much we should really attach to their talent. Because they're going to play Tennessee early, and they're going to play Clemson early. And if they win both of those, the sky is the gosh darn limit. If they win one, lose one, they'll kind of be right where they are now, where it's like, I don't know yet. If they lose them both, we can probably move on from the super lofty expectations early on. I want to point out for the ACC, Louisville and Virginia Tech were the 2 most votes of teams that did not make the AP top 25. So they are, if you were to go this far, 26 and 27 in the top 25. And SMU was 29. So the ACC has some quality opponents. They're just, or quality contenders, quality members. They're just, if you gave them like the SEC bump, they'd all be in the top 25.
Makes sense.
If you just took the logos and flipped them, everyone would be in the top 25. That is number 2. Let's jump to number 1.
Go one!
The United States, by the thinnest of margins, won the medal race in the Olympics. Call it like a Noah Lyles 100-meter style victory. We leaned at the line and won by just a little bit. Both the United States and China finished with 40 gold medals. Exactly. What are the chances of that? The 2, by the way, are way far and above everybody else. Japan finished in 3rd with 20. The United States and China with 40 apiece. The tiebreaker goes to whoever has the most total medals, and that was the United States by a bunch. We finished with 126. The most the United States has had in a non-boycotted Olympics since 1908. 1904, I believe. Second most of any country since 1908. So it was a good Olympics for the United States, and the basketball teams did what they had to do. We picked up a few late medals to get to 40. Did not look like it was going to always go our way. For example, in the women's basketball final, France hit what appeared to be, at maybe to some people and from certain angles, a game-tying 3 to force overtime at the buzzer, like a true buzzer beater They drilled it, but foot was on the line. The game-tying 3 becomes a 2 that just brings it within 1. No overtime. United States wins. If that game goes to overtime and the United States loses, not only does women's basketball lose for the first time in like 80 games or whatever it ends up being, they lose a ridiculous streak in the Olympics. But also, United States loses the gold medal war. If Noah Lyles doesn't lean slightly better than the Jamaican sprinter in the 100 meters, 0.005 was the difference in the win. If he doesn't lean, the United States loses the overall medal battle with China. It's that thin of a margin. Brian Windhorst obviously covers the NBA on both men and women's basketball, winning tight games against France in the gold medal round.
Well, the Steph Curry moment there was really, that's a iconic moment in his career. But I've never seen a game end like the game that ended with the women today. And we're talking about a 30-year winning streak. They haven't lost in the Olympics since 1992. And it was in here they talk in centimeters. They said it was about 10 centimeters. I don't know how far that is, but it was pretty close. 10 centimeters from forcing overtime, and they were under a lot of pressure. And so just leaving them at their team hotel right now, there's a lot of excitement, but a lot of relief. And, the U.S.'s lead in basketball is very narrow. The wolf is at the door, but for another 4 years, both the men and women are Olympic champions, and they did it very admirably, and they earned it.
I'm going to piggyback off of a point made in my Twitter mentions by Chris on Twitter. Shout out to Chris. The United States should not wait as long to get their Team USA men's basketball team together as they did this past time. You can wait if you know or you're confident that you're going to throw in LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and you're going to get them together. I don't believe, maybe Kevin Durant, I don't believe Curry or LeBron will be available for the next one. And if they are, they're going to be in their 40s. I think you want to do kind of the Redeem Team move. Didn't the Redeem Team have to get together like 2 years before the 08 Olympics because everyone was so bent out of shape about the bronze in 2004?
Something like that.
Maybe not 2 years, but get together like 2 weekends in off season. Just so you know them, so you have an idea of what's going on. Because he's right. I don't want to say like the wolf is at the door. I just want to say I'm still of the demand that we should not be in any close games. I still think we are so much better than everybody else when it comes to the sport of basketball. We should not be in any close games. And we had close games this year, even with 3 of the best players to ever do it on the team. And I'm not sure they're going to come back for another. And as I said, if they do, they'll be significantly older.
You know LeBron's going to play.
Do you know
he will.
No, do you know what I was thinking is going to happen?
He retires, but that's how he plays?
No. Ready for this? And bookmark this for anybody 4 years from now. Bring it up. LeBron, Bronny, and Bryce 3-on-3. 2028 Olympics.
Think you do 3-on-3 together?
I think LeBron tries to drag his sons to the 3-on-3 competition.
Oh, God.
And then maybe Anthony Edwards is their 4th, just in case they need to win. Hey, sub in Ant, we're down 6. Me and you got this. Sorry, Bryce or Bronny. Whichever one of you shooting better today, stand in the corner, provide some spacing. We got this.
I think he plays his final year, and then he retires after the Olympics. Calls it that.
He'll be, what, 44?
43.
I don't know.
He calls it right there.
Maybe. I mean, obviously my prediction is just as ridiculous.
Win at home.
In L.A.?
Yeah.
Maybe he could also, I could see him being like the ambassador, like the face of the Olympics.
The wily old vet.
As the like Michael Phelps, who's like, let's see Michael Phelps watching track. Why do I care? I don't know, but I want to see what he's going to do. Simone Biles and LeBron as like the hosts. That could be a thing. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We do have to get some numbers game contestants, but first, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here from my good friends over at Loan Pronto. Great news for all your homeowners out there. Mortgage rates are tanking. My friends at Loan Pronto have have rates that start with a 4. That's right, rates that start with a 4. This is the best rate in years, folks. Listen, if your current rate is over 6%, you could dump it, get that lower payment, get that lower your house payment big time, get that lower rate. Loan Pronto has locked in folks recently at 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, or even last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now and give Loan Pronto a call. Ask about their zero-cost rate reductions home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. So call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. Again, the number 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan needs some numbers game contestants. We need 2 of them. The prize for today, a $25 gift card to Sharky's Place. Sharky's with back-to-back-to-back-to-back wins for best wings in the triangle, voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world, Sharky's. What we need is 2 contestants to compete. If you want to play the numbers game, call in right now, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a $25 gift card to Sharky's Place and to play the numbers game. It's coming up next.
You heard the perfect scores on air.
Just before the buzzer, that's 5 for 5.
We're bringing those champions to the stage. It's our inaugural Numbers Game Live show, presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. Our invitation-only event brings past players together August 21st at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills. Join us on YouTube as we crown a Numbers Game champ. Special thanks to On-Site Audio Visual, supplying the sights and sounds of the Numbers Game Live.
Drive into summer with the Honda CR-V and Accord, your fun-to-drive weekend getaway vehicles. From Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So hurry in to the Honda Summer Event. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 2.9% APR on a 2025 CR-V or 2024 Accord.
Contact your local Carolina Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right. Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Are you in charge of running the building maintenance plays at your workplace? If you're facing roofing issues, you gotta get RoofWorks into the game. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. You can count on us to be your MVP when it comes to taking care of your commercial building roof. We handle leaky roof repair, coatings, total replacements, upfits, and we even do commercial gutters. Let us show you what a valuable addition we are to your building maintenance team. Contact us today online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Bobby Joe absolutely hated her job.
Can't hate that job any more than I do.
So, time for one of those fancy tech schools?
No, I could never afford that. I'm going to Sharky's.
Sharky's?
Yeah, no better place to relax. Great food, cold beer, good whiskey, darts, billiards.
So now you love your job?
No, I still hate my job, but I loves me some Sharky's. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, everybody loves Sharky's. Sharky's Place, one of the best neighborhood bars in the world. 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
Hey, Katie. Hi. Let's embark on a performance calibration initiative synthesizing qualitative and quantitative metrics for this past fiscal year.
If Heineken Silver was corporate jargon, it would have all the info you need. None of the annoying gibberish.
What I was trying to say is, you crushed it last year, Katie. Lady, you are getting a big, fat bonus.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer. Only 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop. The all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. I'm feeling a 5 for 5. I'm just throwing that out there. Little prediction here. The contestants for today are Micah in Morrisville and Matthew in Durham. The prize is a $25 Sharkies gift card. We'll start with Micah in Morrisville. Micah, as the question to see who goes first. We asked this earlier today, so I'll ask it of you. What was your favorite part of the Olympics? What was the best moment of the Olympics?
I would go the U.S. women winning gold in the new coach signing, and just seeing them win against Brazil was pretty sweet. They're back, so that was pretty cool.
So we're talking soccer there. At first, I thought you were going basketball.
No. Yeah, U.S. women's soccer team. My bad.
Yep, great moment. All three of their quarterfinal, semifinal, and then final were all pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Matthew and Durham, we go to you next. What was your favorite moment, the coolest part of the Olympics?
The guy on the pommel horse, I forget his name, but the blind guy on the pommel horse, I thought that was pretty fantastic that he was able to do that technically blind.
I think that is what most people call that guy, is like the pommel horse guy. That's kind of what he's known as. I'm going to go with the pommel horse guy just because that's more of a throwback, and the soccer just happened, so it was good to be reminded of the pommel horse guy. But don't worry, Micah, you will have your chance to win the game. Just go ahead and sit tight. You'll go second. Matthew and Durham, you get to go first. Are you ready to pick a category?
Yes.
All right, we have NFL born in August, all players born in the month of August. We have NFL under 6 feet tall. That one kind of speaks for itself. We have NBA current players only, or NHL Canes and Whalers only.
Let's do NFL under 6 feet tall.
All right, these are all players under 6 feet tall. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There'll be 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Russell Wilson, Seattle Seahawks.
33.
I feel great about playing football right now.
Wes Welker, Denver Broncos.
42.
Incorrect. Barry Sanders, Detroit Lions.
He was 22.
Incorrect. Wes Welker, Denver Broncos.
17.
Incorrect. Barry Sanders, Detroit Lions.
33.
Incorrect. Wes Welker, Denver Broncos. Well, first of all, you had to deal with some sound effect stuff there.
Yeah, that's a me.
You got Russell Wilson with 3. Wes Welker, 83.
83.
That was with the Broncos. You were 83. Barry Sanders with Detroit was number 20, which is why you got the kind of preemptive bell, because you said 22. So the bell started. I thought anyway. You got one. That is not being shut out, which is always nice. Go ahead and sit on the line. We'll see if it holds up. Any tie would go to you.
All right.
All right. That brings us to Micah in Morrisville. Micah, are you there?
I'm here.
Little pep in your step. I feel like the cheesiest thing that every MC does at like an event, like, come on, let me hear you again. Micah in Morrisville, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
There you go. I said, how are we doing? NFL born in August is a category you can choose, as is NBA current players or NHL Canes and Whalers only.
I'll go Canes and Whalers.
All right. The way this works, I give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair with the other categories timing-wise. You need 2 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No, I think I'm good.
Perfect. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Tavo Teravainen, Carolina Hurricanes.
86.
Correct. Trevor Letowski, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Jake Gensel, Carolina Hurricanes.
59. I hate him.
Correct. Max Domi, Carolina Hurricanes.
13.
Correct. Riley Nash, Carolina Hurricanes.
20.
Correct. Trevor Letowski, Carolina Hurricanes.
I had to pass that one.
It's the only one left. Trevor Letowski, Carolina Hurricanes.
18.
Incorrect. Trevor Letowski, Carolina Hurricanes.
56.
Incorrect. Trevor Letowski. Your first just random pull wasn't bad. It was 19 for Letowski. You said 18. So you were.
Who's Letowski? When did he play on the Canes? Am I crazy?
I would assume it's a little bit older. We tend to mix them up. Not all the new guys. Can you just for everybody, since you were rushing through it and I was already into the next one, when we said Jake Gensel, Carolina Hurricanes, what was that little bit of commentary you added?
I said I hate him.
Yeah, all right. That's fair. Just wanted to make sure I was hearing that right.
Yeah, you heard it right.
You had you got 4. That's plenty enough for the win. You only needed 2. So congratulations. You just earned yourself a Sharky's Place gift card.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Stay on the line, and Dennis will get the info he needs to get you your winnings.
Trevor Letowski played for the Carolina Hurricanes from 06 through 08, so 2 seasons with the Canes.
Got a cup?
No. He was 06, 07, so he came in right after.
Oh. Brutal.
Yep. So he's on the 2 years.
As soon as he shows up on
the 2 years he's on the team, they don't even make the playoffs. Then he's off the team, and then, hey, we're back in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now we know, guys. Now we know.
Brutal. Sharkies with back-to-back wins for the best wins in the Triangle, voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharkies. That is funny. By the way, for the past year, you've been hearing perfect scores. We almost had a perfect score there. If only he knew Trevor Letowski. We're bringing all perfect scores from the numbers game together to let them fight it out for who's the best at the numbers game. It's our inaugural Numbers Game live show presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. Our invitation-only event brings all the past players that have perfect scores together August 21st at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills. Join us on YouTube as we crown a Numbers Game champ. Special thanks to On-Site Audio Visual, supplying the sights and sounds of the Numbers Game live. The night will be full of prizes and surprises. August 21st, the Numbers Game live at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills. If you aren't one of the contestants, you can join us on YouTube, right? Feel free to stop by on YouTube Live and play along, see if you're winning, see if you can maybe choose who the best at the numbers game is. But we're looking forward to it. Everyone's working very hard behind the scenes here to make sure it's an awesome event and all those prizes and surprises go the way that we want them to. But again, that is the numbers game live a week from Wednesday, and it'll be live on our YouTube. We almost had, I don't even know. I'd have to look into it. If we get a 5 for 5 between now and then, I don't know if they just get pulled right into this year's Numbers Game Live, or maybe they'll be invited to the second inaugural Numbers Game Live. Either way, be ready every day about 5:30 for the Numbers Game Live, for the Numbers Game here on this show, which could lead to the Numbers Game Live. With that being said, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we know that the preseason for young players is usually a spot to make your name. But how did the studs do? There were a lot of superstars playing over the weekend, and what can the Panthers learn from how they were treated? Next.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
How was everyone's first day at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club?
Oh, me? I set the high score in mini golf.
I tried a new food called wasabi.
Oh, I did absolutely nothing. It was amazing.
There's no wrong way to be a winner. New $50,000 payout and $1 million cash word are here. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.54 to 3.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Have you heard of plantar fasciitis? Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet store. Imagine jumping off the back of a pickup truck onto some rocks. That's what it felt like when I was suffering from plantar fasciitis. After searching and trying so many other products, I finally found relief with Good Feet Arch Supports, and they still keep me running today. Now I get to help others who are struggling with plantar fasciitis to live their life pain-free. Here's another customer sharing their Good Feet story.
Plantar fasciitis feels like pointed, sharp pain. It just hurts all the time. It feels like your foot is squeezing on itself. When I drove past the Good Feet store, I thought, I'm just gonna stop in. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support that were personally fitted just for me. Then it was like, okay, this is something special. These make a difference.
The Good Feet store is in Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Fayetteville, and other locations across North Carolina. Visit goodfeet.com to book your appointment today, or just stop by the store nearest you.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy, and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Panthers fans out there, Panther Talk is coming up at 6 o'clock, and you can kind of pencil that in for the year. Here on 99.9 The Fan, Mondays at 6.
Oh, yeah.
Panther Talk.
Yep, that's what it is.
Anish Shroff, their play-by-play guy involved. You'll hear interviews and everything else going on. That's at 6 o'clock, 99.9 The Fan, Mondays.
I think usually the head coach joins. It's always been in the past. So
And
I know
he did
Dave
on the
Canales
first
was
one,
there
yep.
week one. So don't be shocked if you hear Dave Canales. I think because Canales didn't talk to the media after practice today. So my guess is probably because he's got Panther Talk tonight.
There you go. So that's coming up at 6, which is whatever that is, 15 minutes and ish away.
Yeah.
I was watching preseason week 1, which, by the way, it's like a well-worn hoodie, right? Just football on all weekend. It's just a good day. What I learned is the preseason, everyone says it's meaningless, right? Everybody says it doesn't matter. Who cares? Just get to the real stuff. I can't really agree with that when I'm watching and I see Joe Burrow out there playing, and I see Patrick Mahomes out there playing, and I see Josh Allen out there playing, and I see C.J. Stroud out there playing, and I'm going, if it's pointless, somebody's got to tell some of the best quarterbacks in the league that it's pointless. Right? Because there's so many reasons for them not to play, yet they're out there. And do you know what's crazy? The way they played made it seem even less meaningful for them to be out there. Joe Burrow, 5 of 7, 51 yards, touchdown. Didn't look like he needed to be out there. Looked like he was in midseason form. Patrick Mahomes, 3 of 4 for 27 yards. He had 1 completion to Hollywood Brown, 1 completion to Isaiah Pacheco, 1 completion to Travis Kelce, and an incompletion intended for Rashee Rice. He kind of went around like an elementary school teacher, like your turn, your turn, your turn, your turn. All right, thank you. Now I'm done. Josh Allen, 2 for 3, 22 yards. He even ran for 7 yards. C.J. Stroud, 2 for 4, 41 yards, 35-yard touchdown to Tank Dell. These guys were out there not because they needed the work. I think they're out there just kind of making sure they're tuned up. And remember, Bryce Young didn't play at all. Not a single snap. Wasn't even in uniform. There's no reason those guys should be playing if Bryce Young isn't. Unless, and again, we've gone through this, unless there's a ton of injuries to an offensive line or something. But even that, like the Chiefs lost one of their wide receivers, Hollywood Brown. Had some kind of shoulder, clavicle, something or another that kept him in the hospital overnight.
SC joint sprain.
Kept him in the hospital overnight, and the Chiefs still aren't looking around going like, gosh, why did we play these guys? They see value in it. And part of, like, it's, you know, I feel like somebody on LinkedIn, I feel like this happens in LinkedIn, where somebody tells a story and then they just take like a really big overarching life lesson from it. It's like, I watched my neighbor mow the lawn today, and they bagged up all their grass, and it got me thinking about business-to-business sales and how you need to take your grass with you. Here's what I mean. And then they go into like a long, you know what I'm talking about?
Recycle.
Yeah, it's like never leave something for your client to clean up. It's like, what? I think I'm looking at this and saying, like, I think you can learn that the best offenses take every opportunity to just kind of spot check, right? Like, I don't think the Bengals are walking out going, oh, thank goodness, Burrow looked good, and now we can relax. I was worried, right? They just gave Burrow $50-something million per year. They're pretty confident he's a good quarterback. I think more what they're doing is just they're, like, looking for holes in the boat, right? Oh, wow, that play didn't work. Oh, look at that. You know, our guard got beat on that motion. Maybe we need to look into it. Like, they're looking for reasons things don't work. Right? I saw, and it's always the complication of preseason, right? I consider preseason games, you treat them like games. So you go out there and, you know, you do your best to play it with the same mentality you would in a game. So, like, J.J. McCarthy threw an interception, and I saw Dan Orlovsky of ESPN saying, you know, like, this is when you do it. This is when you test to see what you can get away at the NFL level. Yes and no. Like, I do agree that's what practice is about, right? Practice is, hey, let me see if I can squeeze it into this window. Nope, look at that. Got intercepted. Duly noted, will not try to squeeze it into a window like that in a game. I don't necessarily agree with that in the preseason, but I do think there is like a dress rehearsal feel where it's like, wow, I didn't think about that. We need to fix that. Right? And if you walk out and it's perfect, great, right? Then it's all Fonzie, right? Thumbs up and hey. Like if it's perfect, if your offense goes out there, looks great, mows down the field, touchdown, fantastic. That's best case scenario. But if you go out there and something stands out, you still have, I mean, when's the first game? The first game's not till the end of the month, right? You got 3 weeks to go fix it. That's lovely. I hate fixing problems. You know, you'll learn, if you haven't listened to this show a bunch during football season, one of my favorite analogies is when something pops up, a problem pops up on your team in the middle of a football season, it's like trying to fix the engine in a car while driving 80 miles an hour in the fast lane of the highway. You have to hang out the window, pop the hood, drive with your knees, foot on the gas, like tell your buddy to grab the wheel. Like, it's hard to fix once that train gets in motion.
Sounds like a Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah, probably. They're doing it Fast and Furious or 14. In preseason, though, you can stop the car, right? If one of these, by the way, very good offenses, Texans, Bills, Bengals, Chiefs, I mean, that's like a pretty upper level of offenses. If they went in and saw a problem, pull over, right? Call your mechanic. There's no rush. You have weeks until the action starts for real. Right? The hard part about fixing something during the regular season is if you're not fully focused on scouting your next opponent by like Monday, you're at a disadvantage, right? There's not a ton of time to work on you. Preseason there is. So get out there, right? If Dave Canales realizes like, oh, geez, Bryce Young isn't great at that I need my quarterback to be good at to run my offense, it's much better to have figured that out last Thursday than it is to figure it out week 1. That's what I'm talking about, and I think that's what these teams recognize. Like, yeah, we're going to put him in. It's just a spot check. We're not going to give him 40 snaps. We're not going to have him out there throwing 20 attempts, 25 attempts like Bo Nix did for Denver. Not going to do that. But we are just going to make sure that everything looks right, everyone's comfortable, everyone knows where to stand in the huddle, and then we're gonna move on. I promise at some point I'm going to stop talking about Bryce Young not playing in the preseason.
Yeah, I think it's
But hopefully, if he doesn't play in the second game, I got to start it back up again. It's and by the way, like Dave Canales, first-year head coach, growing pains, this might be one of them, right? He might be looking back going, man, I wish I would have played my starters in week 1. But you can't show that publicly. You have to be like supporting your decisions, sticking to your guns. I'm decisive and confident in what I do. So, maybe next year he will play some more guys. That's fair for him to learn as well.
Oh, yeah.
But just, he's a professional coach. Just like we criticize quarterbacks for throwing interceptions, you got to criticize coach for making a decision that you don't agree with. And then, if they never make that interception again, you praise them for learning from their mistakes. Don't make the same mistake twice.
Hopefully they do get a lot of good reps over these last 2 preseason games.
I think joint practices will be big, and then hopefully the Saturday game is a big one for them as well. And that'll go a long way towards calming a lot of the I don't want to call them fears, but a lot of the worries and concerns of a fan base watching this team. Because I'll tell you right now, we can all objectively say preseason games don't matter very much. There was a flashback kind of worry concern watching that first preseason game, right? We're all off season. You're like, it's fresh, it's new, it's better, it's fresh, it's new, it's better. Then you get to the first preseason game and you're like, they can't score again. I know it's preseason, but I'm watching it and it looks the same that it did last year.
There goes the 3 and out again.
First drive, 3 and out, 2 drops and a sack on 3rd down. What are we doing here? And it's just like, yeah, I hear why you would have that concern, even though it's preseason and it's not a huge deal. So yeah, I'm fine with the way everyone reacted to week 1 in the preseason. I'm fine with it. Fans, if you're concerned, great. Coaches, if you're trying to calm those concerns, fantastic. Players, if you're backing your coach, we're all with it. Everybody's doing what they should do. And I'll tell you what you should do. Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group, and of course that includes our guy, Coach Pete. Talk about coaches that have been through it. 31 years in the financial arena, never had a negative review. Come see Coach Pete's giant 8-foot whiteboards so you can physically see your financial plan come to life with a process that is designed to remove the complexities and confusion that oftentimes comes with retirement planning. Coach Pete breaks it down in very simple terms, very easy to kind of follow the map on these giant whiteboards. It's no different than a coach getting up there and diagramming a play that you might use in a crucial situation in a game. Coach Pete's going to diagram the routes and the plays that you're going to execute during a crucial portion of your retirement planning, right? The retirement red zone, the financial end zone. There's all of these great analogies that he uses to kind of speak our language. Coach Pete is also giving away 10 golden tickets to get you some of his best-selling books, plus his box sets that have workbooks and DVDs, as well as a $1,000 consultation process that takes the worry out of retirement planning so you can enjoy peace of mind about your financial future. He will make sure you get hooked up with all of that if you let him know you heard about it right here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Say, hey, Tim told me to call. If you do that, you'll get hooked up. The number to call, 800-691-3215. 800-691-3215. Say, hey, Tim told me to call this number. Or you can just text my name, Tim, to 600-700. That's T-I-M to 600-700. So they know you heard about it right here. Again, coming up after this, no overdrive today because Panther Talk is taking over the 99.9 The Fan airwaves. So more insides and outsides and lefts and rights and everything that has to do with Panther football, including a reaction to the first preseason game and a preview of the next one.
Something to tell the people real quick. It's National Shooting Sports Month. So if you text RIVER to 919-860-5326 to enter for a chance to win a $50 gift card and celebrate with your friends at Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Again, text RIVER to 919-860-5326. Learn more at deepriversportingclays.com.
$50 gift card. That's pretty sweet.
Great, awesome plays.
River to 919-860-5326. Text for your chance to win. Panther Talk is coming up next. We'll be back for the drive tomorrow at 3. Until then, have a great night.
The Adam Gold Show.
Does the ACC need their own Paul Feinbaum? Not really. You know what the ACC really needs? They need NC State to beat Tennessee. They need North Carolina to beat Minnesota. They need Clemson to be good against Georgia. Win? I don't know, man. Georgia's a brick wall. But look the part. And Miami? Beat Florida. That's what the ACC needs. Win some of these games.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Spectrum Internet has enough speed to handle all your needs, so you can work, game, and stream with speeds up to a gig. Plus, Spectrum's advanced Wi-Fi provides enhanced security for